Tuesday morning on July the 25th, and football is back. That is right. Tennessee Titans training camp officially begins today. We've got Mike Vrabel talking to the media in front of a football practice field, and we've got 4 hours of Titans coming your way with our 11-year NFL veteran, Titans Radios.
Hey.
Ramon Foster.
Hey.
Robert Walsh making the show happen. Kayla Anderson with the morning off. My name is Will Bowling. We've got Ron Slay coming up. We've got the one player who most needs a big camp. And we've got your phone calls at 615-737-1045. Good morning. How are we?
Good. Well, good morning, man. Hey, well, some of us, we're making it. Some not so much this morning. But, hey, we're here, and we're going to make it happen.
Is it that obvious that I sound a slight bit under the weather?
You do not quite have the pep in your voice.
Yeah, the pep.
As long as I still have my southern twang, I think I should be able to get by on my looks and charm.
Yeah.
That's true.
What did you just say a second ago?
Million.
Yeah, instead of saying million.
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 Literally in the middle of your update, Ramon just goes, million.
Hopkins signed a 2-year, $26 million.
You see what I'm saying?
That's pretty good.
That's like when you were a kid and you'd be running naked through the hallways of your house.
That's another one of those southern colloquialisms we were talking about yesterday.
I always thought it was naked growing up.
Naked?
Always.
I say naked.
When I was
There you go. You know ball.
When I was a kid, my mom used to call me the naked ninja because I would
My nickname in high school.
I would get out of the shower and she would be like, "Put a towel around you. Come in here and dry off." And I'd be jumping off the furniture and doing all kind of naked ninja stuff.
Baby Bert, man, baby Bert. The only reason I thought about that is because the word that you threw out yesterday was I threw it out, vehicle. He was like,
vehicle?
That vehicle. That's a good old Southern word right there instead of vehicle.
We have some breaking news of the NFL, by the way.
This early
at 6:05 in the morning.
Ooh.
Breaking Titans news on 104.5 The Zone.
Not Titans news, but we'll count it. The New York Giants and star running back Saquon Barkley have a contract.
Get out.
How about that? Maybe not the contract you'd expect, though. 1 year, $11 million. As the Giants and Saquon Barkley get a chance for him to beat the franchise tag. He gets a $2 million signing bonus. He is coming in and will be at training camp.
Oh. Hey, squeaky wheel gets the oil, huh?
Josh Jacobs, you are on the clock.
Wow.
If you're Josh Jacobs, do you take something similar to this and just bet on yourself, or do you keep pressing it going into camp?
I think you take something similar, man.
I would say probably something similar. Yeah.
I'm from that old school saying of, look, oatmeal is better than no meal, right? And they're pretty much telling these running backs at this point, you can either cry in this Rolls Royce or you can cry in this Toyota right now. Which one y'all want? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I like Toyotas. Okay, I just want to throw that out. Very durable cars. They're long lasting. The Camry from the '90s is by far one of the most iconic cars out there. Okay,
it's a straight bullet for Toyota.
I know, and that's just me just letting you know. Like, there is a difference between a Rolls Royce having a deal and also having a Toyota. There too. I don't have a Rolls Royce, so I'm just gonna throw that out too, just in case somebody think I'm playing that type of game. But it's tough for the running backs. But that coalition, the call that they had the other night, it really can't do you much justice. And they know that, and the teams know that, and heck, all of us know that too. But hats off to Saquon for getting something done. Would you be satisfied as a player, Will, Bert, listeners? Again, you beat the franchise tag. You're an unrestricted free agent next year.
I wonder how much of this was discussed in that running back Zoom call. Hey, take a 1-year deal, close to the tag. Let's all bet on ourselves and band together and run this back again next offseason when we have more of a plan. Granted, I don't know how much control running backs really are going to have, even if they do all, quote-unquote, band together and only take what is good for the whole of the position, because somebody's going to break the line on that and just take what's best for them, as they should, for them and their families.
Yep.
But I wonder if this was part of the discussion that all those running backs did have. And part of what Kevin Byard did.
Yeah.
Kevin Byard took a pay cut, but bet on himself to achieve incentives in order to get himself back to the number he originally was at. Because even with the pay cut, he's getting more money than he would from the Tennessee Titans than he would on the open market right now.
Yeah.
So Rap Sheet just tweeted a little clarifying note for anybody that's not up to date on how the tag works. So when a player doesn't come to a long-term deal by mid-July deadline, the only option is a one-year deal. But the two sides can negotiate that one-year franchise tag into a one-year new contract. It's very rare, but that's what happened here. Smart on all sides. So he couldn't have received anything longer than a one-year deal. This was the best that his bread could be buttered.
Golly.
Well, the Giants don't have a lot of cap space. Neither do the Raiders. The two teams that are now looking for deals for their running backs who don't want to report. Raiders have the third fewest amount of dollars available. Giants fourth fewest.
But the Giants are in win now mode. They finally probably feel like they probably feel as if they've got a fix for Daniel Jones. They got a head coach that they kind of believe in. Y'all know I've been on the Daniel Jones boat for a little while now. Not vouching because I'm out of vouchers, okay? But I like his progression that he's kind of had as a quarterback, and Saquon is a huge part of that. This is just real fascinating that even though Saquon got this deal, it feels as if he's given a concession still. Or this is just, consolation for just, hey, bro, just come on in and get the job done. It still feels like he's missing about $2 or $3, $4 million from what this deal should or could have been, considering the growth of every other position pay that they've gotten at this point. The running back's been stagnant.
Yeah, Saquon would have had a cap hit of $10.091 million. Same situation for Josh Jacobs. So a 1 year, $11 million deal with guaranteed at signing, with incentives, with things that take away from that total cap hit. Giants will save a little bit of money in just stretching this out. And we don't know how many void years there are in this either. But that will be now the floor for Josh Jacobs, who, according to ESPN, is better than Derrick Henry, which is still crazy to me.
What's even worse than that is Tony Pollard has no leverage whatsoever in all of this.
Coming off the injury, you're right.
Yeah. He has absolutely no leverage whatsoever, and a team that's going to use him much as possible. If I was him, sign the doggone franchise tag and just, hey, my knee is hurting the entire year. Heck, I'm not even sure if that helps him with negotiating the previous year, because if they can franchise tag him again, or you say to yourself, that running back position, and they've said it, it's one of the only positions where the more work they get, I think as Nick Chubb said it, the more work they get, the more they devalue themselves too. So will you, as a team, will you look at Tony Pollard next year and kind of say to yourself, oh, man, he saved a year off his body, or, well, we don't know if he still has it.
And he's also the guy that has to prove he can be a feature back without Ezekiel Elliott and be the guy. Mm-hmm. Because that Dallas Cowboys team at running back now is going to look a lot different. They've got Malik Davis, Ronald Jones, and Kansas State rookie Deuce Vaughn as their stable of backs.
Yeah.
But that's certainly going to be a hard pivot away from, pound Zeke into a wall. And then, Tony Pollard gets a 50-yard run. Let's put Zeke back in.
Yeah, it really will, man. It is a difference when you're the head honcho, which is, again, why I thought Josh Jacobs' situation would have just been, that's automatic. And also Saquon Barkley's situation should be automatic also. But the idea that they're making these star players, former first-rounders too, wait it out. I think that's what really gets me more than anything. Saquon's number 2 or 3 overall, and if I'm not mistaken, Josh Jacobs was the 30th to 32nd pick. Heck, I was shocked. Everybody was when Josh Jacobs got drafted in the first round. I knew we knew him at Alabama, but nobody knew him as a feature back. But what's the operation? Draft a running back, play him if he's good, franchise tag him, then release him.
615-737-1045, our number if you want to jump in this morning. We move Ron Slade to 8:20 today. Busiest man in radio will join us in hour number 3. We've got You're Not That Guy at 9:20, so Switching up a little bit of our normal Tuesday order of operations. We've got the one Titans player who needs a good camp the most. We'll do that coming up in hour 2, and feels like there are a lot of ways you could go with that, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm maybe assuming that Ramon will go with the offensive line.
I've been thinking about it since I knew we were doing it last night. I'm between two positions.
Okay.
I really am.
Well, we're looking forward to that. Keith Bulluck, former Titan, joined us. We'll get to our conversation with him coming up next as well. But Titans training camp is here. Mike Vrabel meets with the media today at 11:30. Of course, you can hear that live on the Buck Rising Show. And it's a big day. Football's back.
Football's back.
Coming up, Keith Bulluck joins us. It's RKW on a Tuesday morning right here on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Is it time to replace your air conditioning unit? If the answer is yes, then call the expert team at League Company today and ask about their current special financing offers. Odds are, if you haven't found out it's time to replace your air conditioning unit, you will soon with the heat wave we've had here in Middle Tennessee. Yet your heating and air conditioning system not only keeps your home comfortable year-round, it can also help enhance the quality of air around you and your loved ones. Don't wait until your old system breaks. Have League Company take a look today. Right now, you can get $1,250 off the price of a new air conditioning unit. That's right. That's $1,250 off. Just another great deal from the folks who have been trusted in this community for nearly 80 years. So give them a call at 615-567-1000 or visit them online at leaguecompany.com and get your offer. $1,250 off the price of a new air conditioning unit. 615-567-1000 online at leaguecompany.com. That's League Company, all you need. Tuesday morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will is powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville with Ramon Foster and Robert Walsh. I'm Will Bowling. Kayla Anderson with the morning off. She'll be back with us tomorrow. And right now, we go to our conversation with former Titan and the newest Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, Keith Bulluck, right here on RKW. Man, it sounds like the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame banquet over the weekend was like the social event of the year in Nashville, Tennessee. Can you confirm or deny this may or may not have been the case?
Nah, I mean, look, they had to compete with Ed Sheeran, and there was still a lot of big names in the building. I was very, very impressed with Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, the way the production that they put on. Everything from everyone, former winners that came to meeting a lot of the inductees that went in with myself. It was cool to, meet like Mike Fisher and Tim Harris. I grew up watching him play. And then, to chop it up with Big John, Eric Berry, talk to Henry, the King Law. I spoke with everyone. And then, just the local celebrities like Ramon Foster and Ron Slay were in the building. Brett B, you know what I'm saying? So, it was a great event for sure.
Bully, I told Will I don't think I'll miss many in the future because it was put together so well. Like, you saw everybody, you can stop somebody, speak to them. Like, it really was like, yeah, we can just lay back tonight and just be cool. Is that what you got from it too?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, when I first saw the program and they were like, oh, you're going on at like 9:15 and it was only 5, I was like, man, this is gonna be a long night. But Mike Keith did his thing, man. He would ask everybody a couple questions, kept it short and sweet and concise. And, I've worked with Mike for, almost now being retired about 10, 12 years. And, he's always has interesting questions that I've never heard before. So, Mike Keith did a great job. Shout out to him for sure.
Always.
Definitely.
Always bringing it. Keith Bulluck, our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Keith, in 2009, you guys got to wear Oilers throwbacks. Those come out again last night for the newest installment of now white helmet, the powder blue jerseys, and the white pants. You approve of these looks? I mean, everybody's wearing the red gloves now, even when it's just, two-tone blue, but the red looks good.
Yeah, I mean, look, I used to play with, the Oilers on Madden when they were with the Titans, but they were in that flux, that 97, 98 season. And I think that's when they first got to Tennessee, but they were still the Oilers. So, yeah, you always dig those jerseys. And I remember, unfortunately, I was cleaning my room that day that the Bills had that crazy comeback against them in the playoffs, and they were also wearing those jerseys. So, a couple memories there. But now I think it's dope that these guys get to rock those. Obviously, we wore the ones, I think it was from maybe the 60s or something like that. It wasn't necessarily the ones that they're going to wear this season. Yep. But I think it is pretty dope. I like the fact that, there's a lot of new Titans fans that don't extend back to the Oilers days. So it's great that this young fan of the Titans gets to get some NFL history from the Oilers. And they're absolutely probably one of the, I'll be biased by saying the best, but definitely top 2, top 3 of the throwback jerseys, because I like the Kelly Green and I like the creamsicles as well. No
doubt about it, man. Bully, whenever y'all did throwback situation, you watch a team do throwback situations too. Does it add a little extra pressure to you to perform and win? Because when we did it, I was just like, we can't lose in something historical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. That is funny. You know what? I think Jeff Fisher was more affected by that. He had more of the superstitions when it came to the to those throwbacks. And to be honest, man, the ones that we wore, they might as well be burned, because the last time we wore them, I feel like we lost 59 or 70-0 to New England up there, and that wasn't cute at all. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't even know how a professional football team loses 59-0. I'll just say that.
Bully, that was a hard day in the life of young Will Bowling.
It sounds therapy works, Bully. We all got those. We all have those flashbacks, man. Okay, Jesse James caught that pass in the end zone. That's all I'll say. All right. With that being
said, he did. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? We all got a little PTSD in the game, man. Everybody hurts for sure. But Bully, the outlook of the season, man, so far going into training camp. Where were you at this time of the week? They start in the next few days, man. And what's the outlook for guys at the linebacker position? Let's go specifically middle linebacker, because that's one position I feel like we hadn't spoke a whole lot about this entire offseason.
Well, I'll start first where I would be, the day before camp. Fortunately, we were able to stay at home if you were 3 years old or, a 3-year vet or more. So, I'll just probably get everything that I need, for camp. I definitely would have my mind. Actually, this is the most chill day, actually, of the rest of the next 6 months, probably for any player, because it's the day before camp and you're just kind of getting your mind right, getting all the essentials right. You don't have necessarily any assignment but to be on time to practice the next day. So, I think this is probably the calm before the storm. The week prior, I would have spent some time at home back in New York with the family, getting my mind right, riding the subways and walking the streets, get that energy before I came back to Nashville and handle my business. And to transition to the question you asked me about the linebacker position, I'm curious as well. We have Monty Rice. I feel like they're good on the outside. They're good with Harold Landry and Arden Key. They just got Arden Key, so I think that will elevate a lot of the play in that linebacker room. But more so the middle, like I said, Monty Rice and Azeez Ashir. I don't know much about him, and just from the side, he looks pretty small. You know what I mean? But at the same time, David Long Jr. was small as well, so that's the old school mentality in me, like looking at size. They're pretty much playing 7-on-7 with physical contact these days. So it's one of those things, Moan. I'm going to pay attention more, and I'm sure that we'll have another conversation down the line during camp, but I'm uncertain. I feel that Monty Rice definitely needs to take some steps this offseason. I felt like at times when David Long Jr. wasn't out there, that position was very slow, sideline to sideline, meaning, a running back out of the backfield catches a hitch and, he's getting to the corner. We didn't have a linebacker that could chase him down, or a tight end running a crossing route and catching the ball. Like, he's getting to the corner, the better tight end. So that's what I'm saying. I felt that position lacked speed once David Long Jr. was out. So, that's what they brought with Azeez. I guess that's what he's going to do. So it's one of those things we got to wait to see. And I'd like to see how some of the other young guys that we don't know their names progress during camp as well.
Keith Bulluck with us this morning. Bully, man, the question I have for you too, man, one of your best years statistically, man, was that 2004 season. How in the heck do you get 151 tackles?
You know what? We had one of the better defenses in the NFL that year. So it wasn't because I was on the field a lot. I was just active. I feel like in your first couple years, some offensive coordinators get lazy, defensive coordinators as well. They don't do like their full scouting report. And I took advantage of that a lot. Actually against Pittsburgh, I had 21 tackles that year. So they were down. The Berg was down that year, you know what I mean? But we still put it on them because they did us dirty many times too. So you got to take them when you can get them. You know how it is, Mo.
Yes, sir.
You get a rival down, you definitely got to kick them because they're going to come back kicking you.
I love it. Keith Bulluck, our guest this morning here on RKW. Keith, with DeAndre Hopkins in the fold and wide receiver maybe in better shape now, is that still the position group you have the most questions about, or are you looking elsewhere now with the DeAndre Hopkins signing, saying that maybe the Titans have other larger weaknesses at this point of training camp?
Yeah, I think focus can begin to go elsewhere just because everyone's high on Traylon Burks. Everyone's high on Kyle Phillips. Kyle Phillips is yet to be seen if he's durable enough for this league. Traylon Burks obviously showed some flashes last year, and I've heard he's had a tremendous offseason, but it's always, what have you done for me lately? And that's what I love about this league, is because every year you have to prove yourself. Every year you have to get your mind right to come back and accept and answer these challenges of the NFL, and it starts with camp. But I think with what I know DeAndre Hopkins brings, he brings confidence, and he brings someone that Ryan Tannehill can really be a security blanket. He has someone that he knows has made plays in this league. It's an all-pro wide receiver, Pro Bowl wide receiver, not coming in off an ACL, not coming in off of a hamstring injury like we had Julio and Robert Woods came off of last year. And no disrespect or discredit to them, but it's hard going into a new place when you're not 100%. So DeAndre Hopkins coming in here 100% healthy and accepting the challenge to come to Tennessee, because he could have went to Kansas City and did like Juju, got a ring, go play for a ring, compete for a ring, make some plays to help them win and put them in that position, and then maybe go off to get paid the following year. But I like the fact that he accepted this challenge. That means he's coming in with the right mindset and the right attitude to hopefully be a leader within this team. The only thing that concerns me is that I've been hearing he's not a practice player, whereas coming into camp, he has to practice. Like, without a doubt, he has to practice. I don't care if it's the first week or two, but he has to go out there, get his teammates confidence, show his work ethic, show what he can do, show any intangible that he's bringing to this organization. He has to display it before week one. You just can't go into week one just because your name is DeAndre Hopkins and, you made a couple flash plays during a couple camp practices. I feel it's important for the continuity and for everyone on offense to get on the same page, for him to at least, practice, be involved in the practices.
And when it comes down to that, though, Bully, too, especially going to a new team, you've been in that situation before, too, and I always just kind of felt that pressure of having to impress my teammates. That does add a little extra anxiety to the work day of saying, hey, look, I'm not just here to collect a check, and he's got to be here to help this team win, and I don't doubt that he is, but I need to see the boogeyman be the boogeyman in the practice, too, is what you're saying, right?
Absolutely. I went to the Giants the year I went to the Giants. And the thing is, I was coming off injury, so I knew I wasn't 100% myself, but it didn't matter. I made sure I was out there at practice and I was knocking people around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because after 10 years, I got a name. They want to see what's up. So it's okay, cool. I'm going to show you what's up at 75%. And, when practice is long, you might get a second-year guy, third-year guy. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't big. It wasn't sneeing those guys that I was knocking around. Let's be clear.
Those are the worst ones. It's the ones that know how to be pro but really aren't pro. So that second, third, and fourth-year guy that's going into that contract year, they are the worst camp partners you can ever have. They just are.
Right. Absolutely. And, the best way to protect yourself is to go full speed. And I was giving them the business. Coach Coughlin had to take me out of practice, which was very much needed because, that's the savvy vet. And I was like, look, man, I'm going to just hit everything moving until they get me up out of practice. You know what I'm saying?
So as the young
Chestnut
kid,
checkers.
Yeah, as the young kids say now, right? I'm him. You have practice. Say, I'm him.
Yes. I am Keith Bulluck is here.
8:37, Robert. Keith Bulluck, our guest this morning here at RKW. Keith, man, on the way out. When it comes to Will Levis and Malik Willis, how much of a grace period does Will Levis have? We saw Malik really need some time to transition, and Mike Vrabel say last year, look, just make some mistakes, right? But we would rather you sometimes just get the ball out of your hand and make some mistakes versus always try to run and do things with your legs you're not going to be able to do in the NFL. How long of a grace period does Will Levis have before we really start raising the expectations for him?
Man, that's a great question just because I don't even know necessarily like the rotation, like how are they dividing reps?
Sure.
Like how,
Yep.
Is Will just being placed right in front of Malik or are they going, I don't know how the rotation goes. But with that being said, he's definitely going to get opportunities in the preseason. And I think that's where we need to pay attention to see, is he making decisive decisions? Is the ball coming out? Does he know where to go? Is he going through his progressions? All the things that, you talk about quarterbacks. And to be fair, you're looking for the exact same things from Malik, but you want to see if he's taking another step, because we got to see him last year. And he was a little slow on reads, a little, slow on pulling the trigger, all those different things. But you go from a school at the level of Liberty, and then you come to the NFL. I don't know how realistic the expectations were for him, because if he played at Auburn and the speed was too fast and he had to transfer to Liberty, and then that's when he was, doing his thing, the speed is only going to speed up on the next level. So, I think that now that he got the opportunity to see the speed, know what's expected, and, already go through one offense and learn, and now he's learning another. Let's just see what these two gentlemen have to offer when they go to camp. But this is that's another great That's another great position to watch. The second-year guy and the first-year guy. See how they push each other, and see how they perform in preseason.
Keith Bulluck, our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will at Cable 53. If you want to follow the newest member of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Yes,
Keith, congrats again, man.
Appreciate it. I appreciate the support, from the station and, everybody around the city, man. I felt the love, and thank you very much.
So there's Keith Bulluck, former Titan with us on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, and he brings up a lot of good points there, Ramon, specifically on the quarterback position, which is going to be the position of interest this entire training camp. And honestly, I don't remember a time where quarterback was this crowded.
Yeah.
And you had this much to watch, because even when you have two guys battling, you very rarely have three all battling together.
Yeah, and this is super unique because you do have the youthful aspect of this quarterback room, too, that has to handle itself. I think everybody looks at it and says, Tannehill will be fine, But Tannehill's also fighting for life when it comes to sticking around in the NFL. If Matt Ryan can find a different job somewhere, I'm sure, Ryan Tannehill can also. But what I'm getting at is this. Ryan Tannehill's in a battle for next year against these two guys. Like, as much as he want to help and will help Will Levis and Malik Willis, he's still fighting for his job, and because of that, I'm interested to see how he does perform. I've said this before after, come to the realization of why the Titans kept, they've drafted a fairly high quarterback the last couple of years, is just this when it comes down to Tannehill. Is there a necessary need to get rid of him, or do you keep him around? I think he could go for 1 or 2 more years. Now, again, public perception is way different amongst the fan base as far as how they feel about Tannehill versus what the front office may feel about Tannehill. So I'm looking forward to see what it's going to look like.
Absolutely.
And this is his first time really having competition, too.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to say as a backup with Marcus.
Yeah, but
he wasn't really competing. You're right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
First time.
615-737-1045 is the number. And coming up next, there's one player who you won't see on the field for the first 3 games of 2023. And odds are, because of his music career, you weren't going to see him anyway. Coming up next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will.
It's Ramon Foster for United Structural Systems. And when it comes to large home repairs, a lot of the time we homeowners pretend we don't see the warning signs. We're afraid of what we're going to hear. This is especially true with waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed now, or it could be a small problem now that'll become bigger, or it could be nothing at all. Bottom line is USS or we don't know, and we certainly don't want to be sold something we don't need. We need a peace of mind. United Structural Systems is the company to give that. Over 25,000 100% satisfied residential customers, and here's how they've made it happen. This attitude and culture is the reason they keep employees year after year, from project managers to customer service to production. Some have been at USS for 25 plus years. They are familiar in everything that they do. This is who you want doing your repair work, and this is who you want to call if you do need to use a warranty from USS. Again, homeowners trust USS. USS, keeping homes dry and stable. Guarantee our best. Call USS. And USS serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, and North Alabama. You can reach them online at USSTN.com, or you can call them 615-488-7855.
Tuesday morning on our mode, Kayla and Will is powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Coming up at 7 o'clock, what's one question you have for Mike Vrabel today as he opens training camp? Rookies already in town, going around Nashville doing things that rookies do. Veterans reporting today.
Yeah.
Ramon Foster, do you remember what you guys did when rookies got to camp before veterans? Did you guys go get like a, one of those weird sandwiches in Pittsburgh y'all do? Or like what all was going on?
Nothing, no. I was just so zoned out. And all I used to say to myself is, gosh, I'm glad I'm not a rookie. Yeah, because it's just like an extra day of work. Like, I love football, and I feel like most guys do, but the extra that comes along with it sometimes, like going to camp early because you have a new head coach. Gosh, don't want to do that. It's sports complaining is what we call it. Having to play in the Hall of Fame game, which I did, and having to show up to camp for that super early, like a week before everybody else. I just look at teams now like the Jets last week, like, y'all really are in camp? All right, so as far as the rookies, we just stare at them and be like, boy, y'all ain't got a clue what you're getting yourselves into, but we're going to, go out and spend some of your money while you're here. It's just kind of how it went.
Fair.
Fair.
So you don't remember what you guys did as rookies, like in the city?
We didn't show up.
Oh, really?
Until the vet showed up.
Oh.
This is all new stuff. You got to remember, I'm from like 2009 in this thing.
You're old.
Like, I had 2 years of like two-a-days. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these kids never have, oh, golly, I sound old. A lot of you kids, no, a lot of the players now have never had like two-a-days. We practice at 8:30 in the morning, be done by 10, and then have to go back and have another full practice at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I had 2 years of that. So my showing up was with the veterans just thrown into the fire.
Was that as bad as Players Union made it out to be? Like, could you tell a difference in your fitness level after 2 days were over?
No, there ain't no much of a difference. It's honestly mental. It really is. If I can save a little bit of not hitting myself with pass, I don't think the injuries were higher, Will.
Yeah.
I think you start looking at, the concussion side of stuff, brain trauma and stuff like that. But to say that we weren't hardened still after camp, we still were. The one-a-day practice was just as hard as the two-a-day practices. Really? Yeah, it was.
So were they taking it easier on you when you were on the practice field?
For the two-a-days? No. Oh, absolutely not.
Okay,
well,
it was just...
This is what also happened, too. It would be more young guy emphasis in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So the young guys, like the vets, will get, all the one-on-ones in the morning, and then we do all the physical stuff like team drills and stuff like that towards the later part in camp. The vets would either, hey, y'all guys don't have to come down for this, or just do the first team period, and then y'all can chill till the evening.
The interesting thing about that is without those, is that why we have so many more maintenance days for veterans?
I think so.
Just so you can tell what you have in your young guys? Because typically when Ryan Tannehill takes the day off, us media will get there and be like, oh, okay. Not really as much to take away from today. Logan Woodside's probably never going to make a start in a Titans jersey. Spoiler alert, he'd never made a start in a Titans jersey. And then Malik Willis, it was interesting to watch him last year, but practice was not the same.
You're right.
Now, every time Ryan Tannehill takes a day off, it's like, oh, okay, all right. Big day.
Now we get to see something.
Malik first Levis, let's go.
No, that is a huge part of it, though, Will, is trying to see that young guy develop, because at the snap of a finger, somebody can be out. And the coaches do plan for those type of situations. Again, the vets can just stand around watching us do work, or you know what? Maintenance day, y'all go in and we're going to work with the young guys. Young guy emphasis earned me a spot on the team, because I'm not bragging on myself, but those is where I dominated.
You
were undrafted and you made it 11 years in the league. I'd say you're allowed to brag on yourself a little bit.
If you dominated your peers, then you had an opportunity to really compete with the vets. And that's what happened, like maybe 7-8 days into camp. I started getting like 2 reps with the older guys. And then when a vet went down for a day, I'd go with the ones, still mess up, but I hold my own,
Well, former Titans first-round pick Isaiah Wilson has been suspended for the first 3 games of the 2023 season. Shocker, I know, but Isaiah is currently a free agent. I didn't know you could get suspended and not play anything but basically field goal team for 1 game and then just be on yachts and making rap albums. Like, Isaiah Wilson's more of a artist than he is a football player.
I had no idea. I had no idea he still had an interest in playing football. Like, I figured if you weren't on the roster, they couldn't call you for a drug test or whatever his situation was. I need more details, Will.
It's gambling.
It's gambling too?
Yeah.
When was he?
Why? He should be allowed to gamble. He's not playing in NFL games.
Exactly.
Dude was on field goal block and got pushed over at Indy one time. That's the extent of his NFL career.
No starts, and he's probably under 50 plays for his entire career.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my Lord. Do you know what I would have done with a first-round draft pick grade or just
salary?
Pick? And that's what I'm saying, like the floor for him. And I told him, golly, I told him, man. I said, dog, you're super talented. You got it in you. I was like, your floor is so much higher than everybody else's. Take advantage of it. I saw it like, oh, my God.
He wouldn't take advantage of it.
I hate that for guys. You know that irks me.
I know.
And now he's suspended for 3 games.
I mean, if anyone's going to get suspended, might as well be him.
What's crazy is he probably still gets signed if he showed himself just being a little bit of shape.
If he went and worked out with the right trainer and got the right agent, he'd probably get on a practice squad. Or he'd go to the XFL or, whatever other spring league or CFL. Like,
just to prove
the dude could play football if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to play football.
He is culprit number 1 when it comes down to why John Robinson was fired.
He is. The conversation begins with him, and there's no one else even close.
It's a ripple effect. It's why he had to sign DeAndre Hopkins, why MPF is drafted. Like, it's so many other different things because he didn't work out.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Coming up, what's the one question you have for Mike Vrabel today as he opens training camp? He'll meet with the media at 11:30, and you can hear it live right here on The Zone. What is one thing you want to hear from the head coach who I would imagine might be wearing maybe an Oilers gear today, perhaps? Who's to say? Coming up in hour number 2, Titans veteran training camp report day. It's here at last. Football's back, and we'll be back right after this on Ramon, Caleb, and Will.
What's going on? 7:01 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. We got some Titans news from yesterday. The Titans have now officially agreed to terms and signed receiver DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins signed his 2-year, $26 million and passed his physical on Monday. In 2020, which was Hopkins' last full season with the Cardinals, he totaled 1,407 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns, and earned an All-Pro selection. How are you going to get suspended on your day off? Former Titans first-round offensive tackle Isaiah Wilson has been suspended for the first 3 games of the 2023 NFL season. Wilson is currently a free agent and was last on the Giants practice squad in 2021. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome to your Tuesday morning and welcome to football season 2023. It is Ramon, Kayla, and Will, and it's powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Coming up in 15 minutes, the one player who needs a good training camp the most. And you can give your reaction and your opinion to that question at 615-737-1045. Mike Vrabel meets with the media at 11:30 today. Football is here. And so is Ramon Foster, our former 11-year NFL veteran, current Titans radio teammate.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
I know. I got a little ring to it, don't it?
Just add that to your resume.
Is it time to update my resume?
Yeah, I would say so.
All right, it's time to add it.
Update the LinkedIn.
The LinkedIn. Jimmy from LinkedIn. You got to hear that little
Yeah,
video.
I'm lost.
Oh, it's hilarious. This guy is trying to send a message to a lady. He sends a voice memo. Oh, it is hilarious. Old dude doing old things. That's all it was. Jimmy from LinkedIn.
There you go.
Yeah.
We've got Robert Walsh in our studios. Kayla Anderson with the morning off. 1 hour down, 3 more to go. 615-737-1045. If you want to join us. We mentioned Mike Vrabel meets with the media at 11:30 today. Ramon, if you were a capitalized J journalist, hypothetically, what's your first question for Mike Vrabel?
Oh, I got it written down too, Will.
Do you?
Yes, I do. And
you got the
you
pencil
know what?
in your ear, the notepad on.
You know, did you hear me real quick just tapping the notepad?
Okay.
Yeah, that's when you
Thank
know
you
I'm
for the
serious right there,
onomatopoeia.
okay? Yeah, that was cool right there. But the thing about, like, you got to go at Vrabel with, like, a real good question because Vrabel will give you that real short answer or just one of those, are you dumb? You know what I'm saying? And you don't want either one of those as a small J journalist because then you'll just quit. The big J journalist people, they'll probably just be like, yeah, well, I thought it was a good question. Me, on the other hand, I'd hit him with this one. How do you keep guys like Caleb Farley and Dylan Radins engaged when they have had a rocky start to their pro careers? I think that's a fair one. I think hopefully he'd have or give an answer that you really get some understanding as him as a former player. That's one thing I'd always go at Vrabel about. I try to attach him to his playing career versus him as a coach. Like, it's one thing to manage your roster, but it's one thing to understand it from a player's perspective. When Kayla had her ALS event, I asked him what would be more satisfying, you know, being winning a Super Bowl as a player or Super Bowl as a coach. And I think he said he wants to get his players to a Super Bowl because that may be more fulfilling. So I'd go at Vrabel about those struggles of a young guy who's trying to find his way that can't really get out of their own way because of injuries.
It's an interesting question because, especially for Caleb Farley, who's still coming back from his injury a season ago, starts on the physically unable to perform list. What are the expectations for him this offseason and the rest of this camp?
Yeah. What is it? Dude, I think we want to see about 500 plays. If we can get to that number, gosh, would be good. And I don't even know what the plays are going to look like. At this point, we know this. He should understand the playbook, right? Defensively. And
Absolutely.
Same DC and everything, right? Shane's been here. You get it. Understanding the playbook, understanding how to be a pro off the field. He should know those things. His biggest thing we need to see from him this year is make one or a few plays. And we've yet to see either of those things happen. Like, his tape is no tape. I think we had somebody call in or suggest, or forget who we had on yesterday, but they brought up the conversation, do you start to look at him as trade value?
That was Mike Giannitti.
That was Giannitti.
Spot track.
Spot track, yes. We asked about his, deal and stuff. What is the trade value for a former first rounder that has no tape? And his only tape is him sliding on the field and falling to the ground. Like, I'm not piling on to him. These is just facts. One thing you can always say in sports is, look, it's performance-based. Either you do or you don't. And as of late, Caleb Farley hasn't. And because of that, if he does get traded, I don't know what you're going to get from him, because you don't want to outright let him go. Heck, he was a first rounder for a reason, or he was going to be a high second rounder. One or the other was going to happen.
Yeah, the thing with him, too, now, for me, is anything you get from Caleb Farley is extra now. I think we know what to expect based on his health and availability, and it's really unfortunate because the guy has as many intangibles as any young corner in his class.
Yep.
And when healthy, remember Charles Davis coming on this station saying he's the best defensive back in that class and the best corner in that class. I think anything you get from him now, though, is bonus.
It is. And I'd almost kind of tell him, too, man, soak up as much leadership as you can, knowledge. If he becomes like a true student of the game, I brag all the time on VFL Cam Sutton. Cam understood the defensive scheme and playbook back and forth. So much so that I used to call Cam a player coach because he knew so much. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of translated over into football, onto the field with his play. But learn as much as you can, whether you're in this scheme here in Nashville or another scheme at another place, or you take on coaching in some capacity. But the league really has no grace for guys who are constantly injured. And that's frustrating, I'm sure.
I think for me, the question I would have for Mike Vrabel at the start of training camp is, do you learn from past veteran players who didn't work for a specific reason? And really, the way I would lead that is, does DeAndre Hopkins practice more because Julio Jones didn't? And I understand that Julio Jones had a hamstring injury and had some of the soft tissue stuff going on early in camp, and a lot of that was out of the Titans' control. But I think the main question is, are you willing to give the first-team offense more time with their new offensive coordinator than you did the last time you had a new offensive coordinator? And DeAndre Hopkins with the Arizona Cardinals came in and embarrassed you on your home field in week one in that 2021 season. Yeah. Now, that season ended up being pretty good for the Titans, obviously, in the regular season. They were the one seed of the AFC, and it didn't end up making the ultimate difference. But I want to know, has Mike Vrabel learned from those mistakes in order to start more quickly?
I think as far as the player goes, I guess, one situation is different from the other. And that's always how you have to look at those situations. D-Hop, to me, looked like a guy that's fully engaged in the offseason. Kayla brings it up all the time when she's here with us, is, he really takes care of himself. He seemed like he really does focus in on the small muscles when it comes down to, how he operates. I'd have to see him for a few days, Will. I'm with you, but to not start slow this year, I feel like there has been an added amount of pressure with MPF with these, first 6 games being suspended. Like, one player can affect the entire offense unless another guy steps up or they sign a free agent sometime soon. But with that being said, this team can't afford to start slow. You got so many AFC games this year, and if you don't, answer the call in the early parts of the year, Will, by practicing your guys, by being on the same page, by having those hard days in camp and forcing guys in a situation, you can put yourself behind the 8 ball bad as far as the AFC race goes. And, of course, it won't matter the beginning part in the season, but later we're going to be like, oh, we shouldn't have dropped that game. We shouldn't have dropped that one.
Bill Belichick has commented on DeAndre Hopkins signing with the Titans this morning. He is doing his opening training camp press conference right now up in New England. Zach Cox of Nesson tweets out, Belichick on DeAndre Hopkins signing with Tennessee. Quote, when there's an agreement, there's an agreement. When there's not, there's 31 other teams. Thanks, Bill.
That was solid.
Appreciate that.
That
We're on to Cincinnati.
We're on to Cincinnati. First damn pass. Let's go. That's so Bill Belichick, man. Sounds a little hurt, but hey, it is what it is.
He's on brand.
He is on brand as it can get. I never thought the New England situation was an item for DeAndre Hopkins.
Didn't see any scenario of that.
No, I had none whatsoever that he was going to go there. But D-Hop being in the fold early, though, Will. Let me ask you this. As a pro, as a vet, what is he, 10 years in now? 10 years in? Either way, he's numerous years in. With that being said, though, Will, how much are you willing to have an older player practice just to get that point, though, too?
10 years in. Yeah, I mean, I think he needs to be on the field. He needs to play preseason games. He needs to play with Ryan Tannehill. He knows the offense that Tim Kelly wants to run because he was with him in Houston. Mm-hmm. He needs to play with Ryan Tannehill. I need to know that the Titans learned from their mistakes last time with this.
Yeah.
Because in 2021, that wasn't just, Todd Downing's the OC. It's why it's not working.
Yeah.
Those guys looked like they hadn't practiced together when they played that first game against Arizona in 2021.
Okay, and I guess what I'm asking you is just to make sure that we're all on the same. You need to see probably about a series or two. You're not saying playing the entire 60 minutes of game.
No, I want to see a quarter.
A quarter.
I want to see
fair.
a quarter.
Yeah, okay,
quarter a game.
Yes, I just needed you to say that instead of saying, "Give me 60 reps a game." No, a quarter is good. Yes, I agree with you. Probably the second game at Minnesota. Yeah, I say first game, 2 series maybe.
Honestly, the joint practice week, maybe you're less likely to play as much because you're getting more individual periods and you're getting more team reps against a different defense. Mm-hmm. But I need to see those two on the field together.
Yeah. I can rock with that 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah, since we had clarity on that. I just didn't want you to just be like, give me 60 minutes of D-Hop in preseason.
I'm skeptical it's going to happen.
Oh, for real?
But I do think they need to be out on the field together in preseason.
Yeah, 100%.
Coming up, who is the one player who most needs a big training camp? We ask for your interaction on this topic, taking your phone calls at 615-737-1045. We'll each give our own picks on the one player who needs a big camp the most in order for the Titans to contend to the AFC South, meet their goals for the 2023 season. That's coming up next, 615-737-1045 as Hour 2 continues on RKW.
It's Ramon Foster for Window Nation. It's here. The heat, the humidity, scorching, sweaty temps, and also just humidity too, man. The rain yesterday just popping up in Hendersonville out of nowhere. But I'm here to tell you the hot temps forcing your AC into overdrive, leading to sky-high energy bills. A solution for you? New windows from my friends at Window Nation, where you can save thousands today with no money down, no payments, and pay no interest for 2 years. Plus, Window Nation will give you 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. So you can protect and increase the value of your home today by simply calling 866-90-NATION or going online at windownation.com. And you say, Ramon, how much money can they save me? Well, 30% of your energy bills just right there. And you can also increase the value of your home by up to $12,000 by getting new windows. Jealous neighbors, yeah. And one way to tell if you need new windows, well, if they're sticking, drafty, cracked, hard to open or lock and when they close, then you need new windows. And the best part about you getting new windows, Window Nation has installed nearly 2 million windows with 96% perfection, making them one of the top window companies in the country. Again, you don't have to listen to me. They have over 10,000 online positive reviews. They also have comprehensive lifetime warranties on the entire window, including the glass. Again, 000 for 2 full years. That's no money down, no payments, and pay no interest for 2 full years. Call 866-90-NATION or go online at windownation.com.
Continuing your Tuesday morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. It's powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors as we take your interaction on a Titans training camp discussion. 615-737-1045, our number. We ask the people, Ramon Foster, who is the one Titans player who needs a good training camp the most over the next month? 615-737-1045. You can take it anywhere on the roster for the one guy you are most intently watching over the next couple of weeks. Veteran Report Day today for the Titans. Practice field tomorrow. And, of course, Mike Vrabel meeting with the media at 11:30, beginning the opening ceremony, so to speak, one might say, of training camp 2023. Ramon, we'll start with you on this one.
As far as opening ceremony or just...
No, one player who needs a good training camp the most for the Titans.
I got 3 written down, Will.
Ooh.
And it's hard to really pick. And I don't want to do the obvious one, but I feel like it is the obvious one. But I'll go after you. Well, I'll give another
you want me to go
No,
first?
No, I'm going to go first. But
Well, give your 3 names and then rank them.
Okay, even better then.
Give me a
like that.
1A,
Look at
1B,
you.
and 1C.
1A is Brewer.
Aaron Brewer.
Aaron Brewer has to have a good one. That's my 1A. My 1B is Azeez Al-Shaair.
Oh, okay.
And
I would not have thought of that.
My 1C is Ryan Tannehill.
So explain to me why Brewer is 1A for you.
He's 1A for me, and I put him and Azeez in the same conversation. So much is contingent on them. So much success is contingent on them playing well and staying healthy and understanding both sides of the ball, meaning Brew. You hold on to the ball every single play. You snap the ball every single play. As my former coach would say, our hopes and dreams are dependent on you handling this football. And the fact that you're switching positions again with Ryan Tannehill without a starting right tackle that you had last year, and you're in a contract year, also that plays a part in it to me also, because that pressure performing as a pro will in a contract year is also there. It's at least the cloud of people asking you, hey, this is the contract year. It's always on your mind. So I need for him to have a good camp for his career's sake and also for the Titans' sake, simply because if he can anchor that middle while having a young player right beside him, possibly 2 young players beside him, then this team is going to be a whole lot better off. Peter Skoronski playing left guard to him is going to be crucial for both of their development, man. So he's the guy I'm picking to say he has to have an immaculate camp.
Okay, so Azeez Al-Shaair and Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill makes sense, obviously. I figured one of the 3 of us would pick a quarterback. Azeez Al-Shaair, the size a concern for you, or what are the questions you have around him?
In today's game, and I know what Bully was getting at, the durability of, I think they say he's, 223 or something, I think is what the roster said.
He's a taller guy, but yeah, you're right.
He's 6'2". I look at him, he's a lean, rangy, strike you fast, downhill guy, but can also play the pass. That's got to be his assets this year, where it's got to be a highlight as far as his career goes. And then this is the other thing, too. He's new here, Will. He's on a pretty much prove-it type of deal as far as extending himself out of being a known name in this league even more in a new division with a team that plays very hard and tenacious types of defense, right? This defense is not for the weak. It's just not. Heck, I was watching the QB series, the QB on Netflix, and Patrick Mahomes said the exact same thing. This team is rough when it plays defense. And I'm hoping he's bringing that 49ers knowledge and style of play over here also, because the middle linebacker's in a position is pretty much being the defensive quarterback. And that's why I'm putting pressure on him and also on Radens too. Those are the things that kind of get me going. You're as good as your middle linebackers with Money Rice is if they understand the entire defense and can go sideline to sideline.
I think, to be fair, Monty Rice is also another guy you could say needs a good camp.
And Wayne talked about the inside linebacker group, hardly at all, Will.
It's a big question mark. It certainly is. The only reason I don't say offensive line is because training camp practices aren't quite as physical as they used to be on the offensive line. And we're not going to learn as much about the big guys, in my opinion, in practices as we will week 1 or some of these preseason games. Is that fair?
Other than joint practices.
Okay.
They got 2 sessions of those.
That's fair.
We'll learn something then because it's mano-a-mano at that point, and it's true competition. And I'll just correct you, just like it still is very physical.
Yeah, of course.
But as far as like what you're saying of them getting rep after drive after drive after next drill to next drill of physicality, you got to taper it a little bit. You do. And they also get the gap week in between the season, 2 weeks actually.
When it's not 100% full contact.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to, and you'll see I'll give a skill player here in a minute. That's why I'm more focused on guys who can go full speed and not full contact.
That makes sense.
Robert Walsh, Titans player that needs a big camp the most.
Well, I was going to go offensive line, but you've convinced me to go elsewhere to my 1B. And it's a little off the beaten path, but I'm going to go Kyle Phillips.
Ooh,
because
stealing mine.
It's
a good thing. No, it's fine.
I feel like he impacts the game in more ways than just offense. He's also a returner.
Yep.
If you're coming out there with field position, it's a whole lot easier to move down the field.
Yep.
And he's a different type of receiver than what your 2 outside guys are going to be. He's not the same thing as Hopkins. He's not the same thing as Burks. He's going to act as he's almost like in the Chig sort of field where he's going to be the middle of the field guy. He's going to be the safety valve. He's the guy that takes a 5-yard catch and turns it into 50, or takes a 5-yard catch and turns it into 20. You need guys like that, and his health is paramount for this offense. I don't know who slides in that spot. You probably got NWI there or Chris Moore there if he's not healthy. And I think he's a substantial upgrade over both of those guys when healthy.
I think it's Kyle Phillips for me, too, because it's so easy to forget. He had 6 catches for 66 yards week 1 against the Giants last year. Yeah. And that was coming off of a training camp where he was consistently Ryan Tannehill's favorite target on third downs in team periods.
Yeah.
Kyle Phillips, to start, has to stay healthy all of training camp. He has to. Had a shoulder injury against the Giants that he was not able to come back from. He had other bumps and bruises in the recovery process from the shoulder as well. He had only 2 catches for 12 yards after week 1 last season. But it is so easy to forget, guys, that this time last year, we were talking about him as the X factor that could completely change this offense.
Yeah, that's so true.
And he was the guy in training camp that was the chain mover. I think this team now has a down-the-field threat in Treylon Burks, has a veteran in DeAndre Hopkins who knows what he's doing. They need a third-down technician in Kyle Phillips. Because I don't think Chig is going to be that guy anymore. I think he's so dynamic that you're not just using Chig as a third-down Swiss Army knife the way you were at times a season ago or the way you have at times with the tight end position under Mike Vrabel. I think now he is one of your deep threat wide receivers, too.
You're saying now Chig has the red laser beam on him in team meetings.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I just think Kyle Phillips can have a pretty specific role.
Yeah.
Chig doesn't have a specific role. He's going to do a little bit of everything, I think, for this offense. The way they used Jonnu Smith when he was still a Titan. Kyle Phillips is your Adam Humphries. He's going to do one thing, and he needs to do that one thing well. And it's get open in between a safety and a linebacker, in between a corner and a safety. Get open in the dead parts of a zone or win in man coverage on third down and intermediate or third down and short.
All I heard when you say you need to do one thing and one thing only is that Kanye song. We're going to skate to one song and one song only.
Ramon, we canceled him. Come on.
Kanye's still around, I think. I think his family just canceled him.
Kidding.
That's all.
I'm kidding.
Either way.
It's harsh. Ow.
Hey.
His family only canceled him.
Adidas did, too. What are we talking about, man? But, yeah, and the only reason I brought up Tannehill, though, man, here's my 1C. Just prove it again. If you really are into this, and I know he is, the way you say and the way you want to be, and there's no better job to have in America almost than the NFL quarterback, fight off the young guys. I love seeing that type of stuff because if he does, that means his team is better, Will.
Show some fight.
Yeah. This is the first true competition he's had.
And remembering what it was like in 2019, we begged Marcus Mariota to do the same thing. A guy who wasn't fiery at all, still isn't, soft-spoken guy. Show a little bit of fight and be encouraged by the fact that you have someone looking over your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Tannehill's got two guys looking over his shoulder.
Yep.
Show a little bit of I don't know, confidence, a fight. Determination. And don't lock him out of the film room and, be a good teammate, obviously, because we've already seen people take out of context as one quote that, we've got good coaches, so it's not my job to mentor Malik back in Mentorgate this time last year.
Right.
Remember that was literally this time last year, that's what we were doing.
It was.
Will Ryan Tannehill mentor Malik Willis?
Yep. It was, wasn't it?
Goodness sakes. That feels like 5 years ago.
Couldn't be my headline.
Let's go to James in Franklin, 615-737-1045. Who is the one player who needs a big training camp the most? That's the question we posed to the people here in hour 2 this morning. What's up, James?
Good morning, Big Ragu.
Morning.
The obvious answer, Christian Fulton. Got to have it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good one. Thank you, James.
He does. He's in the same seat as Brew. Aaron Brewer.
There are a lot of guys that just have to stay healthy for all of camp, and that in and of itself would be a success.
James Point, though, Vrabel called him out by name, too. He really did. It's not that I forgot about that. It's just that now we're back. We're back in the field now, no pun intended, when it comes down to, all the things that Vrabel said towards the end of the season and Christian Fulton not really showing up for OTAs or, being in town for minicamp, saying, look, I'm taking the entire offseason to learn how to train and get my body right. And the images he's shown, Kayla's pointed those out to us of him, working. What does it actually look like, or are you just an injury-prone type of guy, Will?
You could make the argument that every single one of the corners on this roster could be a legitimate answer to this question.
Yeah.
All of them. Sean Murphy Bunting included.
Mm-hmm.
New guy coming in, expected to be the second corner of a defense that has kind of rotated that position a little bit.
Yeah.
You could say Roger McCreary as someone who needs to make a rookie to year 2 jump. And where does Roger McCreary even play? Is he just a nickel now? Is he still going to be outside? I think Christian Fulton, if you're going on defense, I think is the best answer.
God, dog, how come I didn't think about that one, Will? Christian Fulton is one of the main answers for sure this year. I don't worry about buyer's response. I don't worry about any of those things when it comes down to him being a true pro about getting the job done. But Christian Fulton is definitely in the conversation. I would also throw Rashad Weaver. It's fair for him to expect to take a step up too, also considering Harold Landry. Will he be 100% go? And we won't know until we actually see it. But somebody has to take up the slack for what's going on as far as him getting back to 100%.
That's the thing, too, is that you've essentially bet on a bunch of guys who you were hoping make a jump.
Yeah.
This Tennessee Titans roster is made up of players who this coaching staff is going to try to coach up into their full potential. Mm-hmm. And that's true everywhere in the league. But even just in the AFC South, the Titans have as little proven talent as even the Colts and Texans. You could make the argument at many spots.
Yeah.
Titans just have proven talent that's really, really good, and Jeffrey Simmons and Derrick Henry, and I'd even put Ryan Tannehill in there.
You have to. Have to, Will.
615-737-1045. Mike is in Nashville, up next with us here on this Titans discussion. What's up, Mike?
What's up? So I'm gonna go Money Rice.
Money Rice?
David Long.
Yep. 100%. Money. I forget about David Long Jr., man. Miami, you're going to have to see him on Monday night, too.
That's right.
You will have to see him on Monday night. Fair.
Yeah, that's very fair.
But that's the thing, though, too. That middle linebacker position, I think across the NFL has kind of been pushed back. Even, what's his name? Devin White. Looking for a deal. Tampa just chose not to give him a deal. Now, he may get one in the middle of camp, but that position right there is another position that I think we need to keep an eye on as far as guys getting their just due. You don't want this position to fall into the running back conversation
No, you certainly don't.
It very well could, the way they treat it seemed like these days, especially if Azeez Al-Shaair come in and play well and David Long goes to Miami and play well on pretty much middle-class type of contracts. So, David Long. I mean, not David Long, Monty Rice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Jameson on
like
YouTube
Monty.
in the F&M Bank chat says, who needs it most is Malik Willis. Without a massive preseason / camp, he's going to be packing boxes in a few weeks.
I'm hesitant to name Malik, though. And I think that's fair, an assessment of it. I just don't know what's going to be left for Malik this year.
It feels like his fate is sealed regardless of what happens this training camp.
Yep.
Because he was replaced by a guy as the starting quarterback who'd been on the roster for about 4 days.
And that's kind of where I'm at with Malik.
And it's unfortunate for him, but the guy was never supposed to get a chance in year one. He got his chance. He didn't take it. And now it feels like the team has completely moved on already.
I've never gotten more, though, Will, request DMs on Instagram for folks I'm not friends with, or whenever I was on Twitter, just saying, I'm not out on Malik, or, hey, I'm teaming. Like Malik has a huge fan base of people who are rooting for him, but I'm like, I almost feel like his fate's almost made up with how they went about last year, and you draft another second-round quarterback this year. It's touchy talking about Malik's situation because you feel like there is a lack of faith in him.
Well, let's continue that coming up next because I'm on the record. I don't think he makes the roster. I'm curious what your thought on that is now. And if it feels like the team has moved on, then what is considered a successful camp for Malik Willis? 615-737-1045. Plus more of your phone calls on our discussion here in hour 2. Who is the one player who needs a big training camp the most? Your thoughts on that at 615-737-1045. More coming up on that here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will.
It's Ramon Foster here to tell you about Zen Sports, the new sporting betting app in Tennessee, revolutionizing sports betting rewards. What if I told you that you're wasting time and money betting on sports books that are not Zen Sports? Zen Sports offer real cash rewards for those lucky enough to be in Tennessee, and that means no funny money, points, or credits. For a welcome bonus, earn 5% cash back on every bet you place for the first 15 days with no limit on your bonus bet when you use a referral code. And earn up to 3% cash back also on your bets after that with Zen Sports Loyalty Rewards Program. So make the switch today and start betting on Zen Sports. Your wallet will thank you later. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 years and older and present in Tennessee to bet.
Tuesday morning continues on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Coming up at 8:20, Ron Slay, his weekly visit to take the roof off the show on a Tuesday morning. 615-737-1045 is our number. And the question we ask today, who is the player who most needs a big training camp in a Tennessee Titans uniform? And we'll get back to the phone calls in a minute. But, Ramon, talking about Malik Willis, at this point of the process, does he make the 53-man roster?
I've been saying yes, and we have an open bet on that one, too. I
say
they keep three quarterbacks this year.
And you're standing by.
And I have to stand by because I bet on it. I'll say this.
If you didn't bet on it, would you stand by that
opinion? The way
opinion?
it sits right now, probably not. That's just where I'm sitting right now. But I'm professional enough to say, yeah, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll take my 50 push-ups.
What made you change your opinion slightly over the last month?
D-Hop.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Why's that?
D-Hop. Just simply because I look at it and I say, where's the room for you to fit players in? I feel like D-Hop takes up 2 spots, I guess, essentially roster-wise. Like the importance of what we're focusing on is not trying to develop a third quarterback. Our focus on is winning right now. And if it's focused on winning right now, we think Levis may be ahead of Malik when it comes down to coming out of college polished, then guess what happens? Concentration has to go to Levis. And I think that's why. If Ryan Tannehill goes out for a pinky, I never like to say major injuries.
Sure.
And you got a backup quarterback in, as it stands right now, Will, who are you putting in the game?
As it stands right now, Malik Willis.
You are?
Because by all accounts, he's been better than Will Levis in OTAs and in minicamp.
Okay.
That being said, by the time the Titans next play a game, Will Levis.
Okay.
I think by the time the Titans are on the field again, you are more likely to run your same system with Will Levis than you are with Malik Willis.
There we go.
And that's what it comes down to. The Titans cannot completely change their offense and run an RPO offense that doesn't exist with Ryan Tannehill. It does a little bit.
Right.
Titans have run some of those in the past with Ryan. But you can't totally strip all of your principles as an offense just because you have your backup quarterback in.
Right.
I mean, no one in the league does that. Marcus Mariota is the backup in Philadelphia now. That way, if Jalen Hurts gets injured, they could run the same offense.
Similar.
You know, Tyler Huntley has been the backup in Baltimore because if Lamar Jackson gets hurt, you can run the same offense. Malik Willis does not run the same offense as Ryan Tannehill with any success.
No.
Josh Dobbs was better at running the Ryan Tannehill offense last year than Malik Willis was. So I have faith in Will Levis with at least the knowledge of playing for a now former NFL offensive coordinator and Liam Cohen and Rich Cangarello, who have NFL ties when he was at Kentucky, to at least step in and run the same system. Maybe a dumbed-down version of that system, but at least still the same scheme.
Yep.
Let's go back to the phone, 615-737-1045, where Jeremy joins us from Chicago this morning. What's up, Jeremy?
What's up, Jeremy?
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Good.
Great.
Good morning.
Yeah, I just wanted to really just make a statement. I mean, and you guys can comment afterwards. It just, like, I get what you're saying, you know, like, we picked up Will Levis, so it's, you know, it's kind of like, you know, the story's been set for Malik. My question is, like, I was listening to NFL radio the other day. Solomon Wilcox said, he said that, you know, rookie quarterbacks, you have to protect them. I don't understand. Like, we didn't protect him at all, so why are we being so hard on him? You know, he had no line.
It's true.
I'll give you this answer while you're on the phone. Well, the reason you're being so hard on him because it's such a production league. It's such a what have you actually done. You know, Jeremy, and I think the NFL is very unforgiving whenever it comes down to those type of things, especially at the quarterback position. That would be my only pushback is why we're out. It's because we've seen it so far.
And because Josh Dobbs was better at protecting himself and running the offense than Malik was with the same bad protection.
And I would also say this. If we saw Jalen Hurts crap the bed, Jalen Hurts wouldn't be the quarterback in Philadelphia right now because it's such a short leash, even for second-round picks. It just is.
Yep. Let's go to Steven in Portland up next, 615-737-1045. What's up, Steven?
Good morning, fellas. How are y'all?
Good.
Great.
Good morning.
Hey, I know we're talking about players in training camp, but the one I'm looking at and I think that I'll be observing the most would be Tim Kelly during training camp, how he's coaching, how he's bringing up his players. Because we got to give the NFL something new to look at. And I'll hang up and listen to what you guys think.
Thanks, Steven.
That's fair.
It's a great answer.
That's fair.
I think it's totally fair. And I thought about even going that direction and saying, it's not just one player. It's the guy who's controlling half the players.
Yep.
And calling the plays for half of them. Because if my small brain can guess what play you're running based on the formation you're in and who's on the field up from section whatever I'm in for games on Sundays, I promise you NFL defenses can too.
Yep.
I'm not a smart person. And the fact that I could point out there, no, do not tell him what time I said that,
Save
Ramon.
that.
When I
7:53.
It's on me. Anytime Nick Westbrook-Akine was on the field for Julio Jones, it was a run or it was a play action that direction.
Yeah.
When Julio Jones was on the field, it was a pass. You know, when they're motioning out one back, it's a screen.
Yeah.
It's just, it was so predictable under Todd Downing.
And this is another conversation. So you speak about D-Hop being out there on the field. In order for this offense to work more, and I've changed offensive coordinators too, is you got to kind of give a little bit more in preseason. You do. You absolutely do. Just so guys know what the plays look like in full speed. You do have the luxury, of course, of joint practices. So we'll see.
615-737-1045 if you want to jump in on that topic as we continue through the rest of the show. The one player who needs a big training camp the most. And coming up next on Titans Veteran Report Day, we give you the schedule for the rest of the afternoon that you need in your life. When you can hear Mike Vrabel and the newest Titan, who was officially announced yesterday, and one DeAndre Hopkins, who may or may not have been pictured wearing an Oilers jersey.
Oh.
Sorry, Houston. Coming up next on Ramon Kalen Will.
What's going on? 8 o'clock from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. In Titans news, yesterday the Titans officially agreed to terms and signed wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins signed a 2-year, $26 million contract and passed his physical yesterday. In 2020, which was Hopkins' last full season, he totaled 1,407 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns, and earned an All-Pro selection. Now to the Titans of yesteryear. Former Titans first-round offensive tackle Isaiah Wilson has been suspended for the first 3 games of the 2023 NFL season. Wilson is currently a free agent and was last on the Giants practice squad in 2021. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Halfway home on a Tuesday morning edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. The sky is blue, the sun is shining, and football is back. Titans training camp officially getting started today. Mike Vrabel meets with the media at 11:30, and at noon, the newest Tennessee Titan, the newest man to wear a Houston Oilers or Tennessee Oilers jersey for 2023. DeAndre Hopkins will meet with the media as well on the practice field tomorrow. Ramon Foster, we made it.
We did.
Congratulations, everybody.
Give it up for
Football
myself.
season is back. We are here. It is July the 25th, and it is a great day to be alive and free in Tennessee.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Paul and Franklin.
Paul and Franklin, Will. I don't know about you, but it seemed like this summer has been a breeze a little bit, though, as far as football.
Yeah.
Getting back to football season.
We've had suspensions all summer. We've had a ton to talk about here.
Yeah.
Listen, there are a lot of conversations that happen on radio airwaves across the country about, oh, gosh, we just need something to talk about. And then something bad will happen. It's like, oh, thank God, something to talk about. I don't feel like we've ever had that problem.
Right.
We always have something to talk about. We're going to bring it 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
And in this city, when there's always something going on,
Yeah.
I feel like this is a pretty easy place to talk sports.
I'll say this, too. During SEC Media Days, before we get right back to the calls, I thought to myself, like, we're here in Nashville covering a pro team. Like, the SEC Media Days to them was an event that they had to cover because, like, college sports is what they have in Baton Rouge and Oxford and Fayetteville, Arkansas, like those places, right? Even in, heck, I'd even go Knoxville to some degree.
Yeah.
Like, we opened up the first day of SEC Media Days talking Titans.
For like 3 of the 4 hours.
You know what I'm saying? So it's unique. We have rolled into it, man. So I'm excited to get both back. Football, NFL's taking over while college takes a back seat for a little bit other than commitments. We're rolling.
Yeah, we on this station, we have no problem finding things to talk about in this city.
Yeah.
Always something going on, and all of our shows do a great job with that. You know what? All our shows are going to do a great job of going into the football season.
100%.
We're going to bring it for 12 hours a day right here on this station, and you already know that. I'm not breaking any news, but good to remind the people as we go back into another Titan season and training camp and NFL season.
2023, baby.
We were talking about our schedule for the fall yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be good.
It should be good.
People are going to be ready.
Yep.
Mentioned in hour number 2, topic was the one player who needs a big training camp the most. That's the discussion this morning at 615-737-1045. We've got Ron Slay coming up in 15 minutes. We've got You're Not That Guy in hour 4 today.
Mm-hmm.
We can complain about dumb people on the internet.
Yeah.
Lots to choose from. But right now we go back to the phone, 615-737-1045. Brandon is in Lebanon, up first here on the second half of the show. What's up, Brandon?
What's up, guys? How are y'all doing today?
We're good. Good morning.
Hey, so you guys are talking about like a specific person that, you know, needs to be highlighted for the training, but I don't know if we can hit that area just yet because, like, my biggest thing is strength and conditioning. Like, we just can't have another year with just, like, a million people going on injured or injured reserve because right now we've already got 2 people on the PUP list and, Harold Landry just barely missed it. So we got to look at the strength and conditioning. Besides the O-line, that's like the biggest need and want for us not to have to go that route anymore. So I'll hang up and let you guys talk, and I appreciate you.
Thanks, Brandon.
You know what I love, Will?
What's
and
that?
Brandon, thanks for the call. That's a great point to be made, too, is this fan base fully understands what the entire makeup of the team is. It's nothing better than understanding, like, yeah, it's one thing for us to play, but how do we stay on the field? Like, that to me is always fascinating for the ones that call in and understand. It's a little bit deeper than just rolling guys out there. What is your recovery like? Nowadays, too, Will, I wonder what track is like in the college level and the pros, but like the GPS, force off the ground. Like watching the QB thing with Patrick Mahomes, I will say, if y'all hadn't seen him or don't have respect for the dude, man, his in-season workout, Will.
It's impressive.
It's impressive.
Yep.
But why is he doing it? To make sure that he stays above board as far as health and muscle durability and stuff like that. It's fascinating. It really is.
It is, and it is the discussion that I feel like without all of the roster changes and staff changes, we would be having more about health and about this team staying healthy. Have we almost just accepted that that's part of it with this team under Mike Vrabel?
The injuries? It can't be the case because I know as coaches, they take that to heart. And even more so, the strength and conditioning and the trainer room takes it hard too because it's our job to keep you ready and healthy.
Yep.
And if you're not above board when it comes to keeping guys healthy, then that really affects your job because your best talent ain't out there, you losing games for the most part.
Our guy Ali is up next, 615-737-1045 on the Titans player who most needs a big training camp here this August. What's up, Ali?
What up, guys?
Hey.
Happy football season.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So one person, or I'm not going to say a person, I'm going to say a position group.
Okay.
The left tackle. Whoever's going to play left tackle for this team this upcoming fall needs to have a huge training camp. Because I remember Buck talking about how the guy that they signed, Andre Dillard, how he was on the ground a whole lot. We can't have that in camp. Like we got to make sure the left tackle we don't have a repeat of Dennis Daly 2.0. They even lost the division because the left tackle position couldn't block last year.
Yeah, that's very true, Ali.
Thank you, Ali.
Thanks,
Appreciate the call.
Ali.
I think that's one I expected to hear more of. I'm surprised you didn't pick Andre Dillard.
Because I'm be real with you, and you call me soft if you want to, Will, but I feel like I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Because his pay suggests we got confidence in you. That lets me think, okay, that he should know that he's in the fold. You feel me? And also, change of environment may do him a whole lot of justice. Like the Titans are an easy outfit to play for because it's like the WWF. It's the Attitude Era. Like the Titans live in the Attitude Era. So it's not like it's making it any easier from going from Philly to here. But change of scenery, new team, having to prove himself over. He gets his rookie year back over. So because of that, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Like, bro, be a true pro. You're 5 years in now, man.
That was the funny thing that came out of Mike Vrabel's conversation with Taylor Lewan and Will Compton last week on Bussin' with the Boys on that podcast.
You watched? I hadn't even seen it yet.
Bits and pieces. I haven't listened to the whole thing, but I've listened to some of it. And paraphrasing here, but Will and Taylor essentially told Vrabel, like, you don't realize how hard it is to play for you for the first time, that first season. And Mike looks at them and just goes, well, you guys weren't ready for what I expected of you.
Oh, did he?
He kind of said it with a smile on his face, but it was essentially like, nah, you guys got to be prepared for what I'm asking of you, not the other way around.
He ain't wrong. Like, I know you can get shell-shocked by this. Like, it's a surprise. Hey, we're really in the thick of everything. It's kind of how it goes. But Vrabel's looking for guys that can be shocked and adjust accordingly.
And I would imagine from the player's perspective, Ramon, there are places you can go where if you want to get paid and skate through a little bit and not be on a contender, you can go places with expectations of getting a bag and just rolling right on through.
Out.
And honestly, kind of the way the Arizona Cardinals have been. DeAndre Hopkins' former employer.
Yeah.
You want to get paid? You want to go 5-12, but get paid and not be asked of a lot to do very much? Just go to Arizona.
Let's go to Arizona. I mean, where Carolina is right now, before they got, Bryce. Like, that's another situation right there. Like, there are organizations, but the thing is, when you're with a contender, the expectation gets a little bit higher, too. And that's why I said, as far as Dillard goes, like, it's not like he's coming to a slappy of an organization. No, you're coming to a team that really is going to compete in the AFC South. With that being said, understand that you're going to be you're going to have your feet put to the fire as far as production goes. That's why I'm not overly worried about Andre Dillard. I'm just not at this point right here. And the same goes for Peter Skoronski, too. Like, young fella, we understand the attachment of being a first rounder.
Yeah.
Just go do that thing. Do that little thing that you do, man, and dominate folks.
And I'm worried about left tackle, not based on Andre Dillard, but just based on the fact that when Taylor Lewan has gone down, that has always been the question of what are you going to get now at left tackle?
Yep.
And without Lewan, who was consistent when healthy, he was a good left tackle.
Yeah.
That's what I need to know is this replacement better than the last one? Because the last replacement level tackle, left tackle, was wretched.
Turnstile.
He was bad.
Yeah, it was a turnstile, definitely. Tough, Will.
Yeah, it is. Let's go to Reed up next before we wrap up this conversation and get to Ron Slay on the other side. What's going on, Reed?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
I have a beef with you, Ramon, Will, about Malik Willis. They threw him out to the Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
The plan was to have him to be developed. They knew what they were getting when they drafted him. And then you guys want to compare him to Josh Dobbs. Josh has been in the league for a while. Josh can manage the game a little bit better. So I don't think that that's fair. So I'm just going to say that. And also, that we need to watch during this training camp season is Mike Vrabel, because he made it work with so many different people and so many different players, whatever. He's kind of sort of getting what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
He has a new GM, and let's see what he does during this training camp season.
That's true.
I'll sit up and I'll listen.
Thank you, Reed.
Thank you, Reed.
And I'm not saying it's fair either. It's not fair at all that Malik Willis got thrown into the fire in year one and essentially might lose his job because of it. But the NFL is not a fair league.
It's not.
And he wasn't ready when his number was called. Should he have needed to be ready? Probably not. But now the Titans picked another guy that they think will develop into their franchise quarterback more easily than the guy they picked in Malik Willis. Fair?
I think the only unfair thing for Malik is the time frame that he's under. That's the only unfair thing. And I know we're up against it real quick, but I just have to say, Vrabel asked him to stay in the pocket, he wouldn't. Told him to not run with the ball, he did, and fumble. Told him to just throw the ball, and he didn't. Told him to run the offense, and he couldn't.
Lost to Houston at home. He lost to a bad Texans team at home.
Reed, you're not wrong. And again, I've said that I preface it by saying I picked Malik to be one of, I think they carry 3 quarterbacks, but it's looking more bleak than it is optimistic for him right now. And that's what I'm really only disadvantage he has is the amount of time he's given, Will.
And the fact that the general manager who drafted him is no longer his general manager, which again is unfair.
It's unfair.
But it happens all the time where the guy that stands on the table to pick somebody gets fired, and now there's nobody else left in that front office to stand on the table and vouch. I know you're out of vouchers. Rand Carthon's not out of vouchers. And vouch for Malik Willis.
You're right. I'm out of vouchers, Reed. I tried, man. They shut me down.
It will not shock me if he makes the roster.
Yeah.
It won't even really it would surprise me.
Can Charles London bring more out of him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He can. Can he bring enough out of him to be a franchise quarterback in the NFL? I don't think so.
But again, his biggest gripe or his biggest disadvantage is lack of time, bro.
Well, and that's the thing, and we'll get to Slay here in a minute. If you don't believe Malik Willis possesses the skills and traits to be a franchise quarterback, then you are wasting your time.
What does NFL stand for other than the National Football League, Will? not for long.
Yeah, if you don't believe he can be a franchise QB and you believe Malik Willis is more likely to be that guy, then that's what I'm saying. In terms of his fate being sealed, if Malik Willis has a great camp, you know what that means? He's got some trade value now.
He's good. Yeah. Well, yeah, that portion of business is business, right?
I think everything's on the table other than him starting out of camp, obviously. Yeah. But Ryan Tannehill is this team's starting quarterback. Will Levis will 100% make the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Malik, I'm putting maybe at 40%.
Well, I guess I got to take the 60 since we got a bet.
I guess you do. And we'll dive into that with Ron Slay as well next. Really good discussion on this morning on the phone lines. 615-737-1045. We can get back to your phone calls after we get Slay's thoughts for his weekly Tuesday visit on the show. Who are you most excited and most need to see a big training camp from on this Tennessee Titans roster? Ron Slay answers that question for us as well, coming up next.
We talk all the time about the diamonds at Genesis Diamonds. That's their specialty. Diamonds are not a side business for Genesis. It's at the core of who they are. That's why Genesis has 30-plus year connections in the industry. It's how they can truly cut out layers of middlemen and their markups. It's how Genesis can maintain a diamond selection that's up to 30 times what you find at other stores. This is a diamond powerhouse, whether you're looking for a half a carat or 20-carat diamond. But don't forget this also. Genesis has case after case of exquisite fashion jewelry as well. They have earrings, bracelets, pendants, bands, colored gemstone, gold jewelry. The list goes on. And Genesis has partnered with all the top designers in the jewelry world. Top designers from New York and California with handcrafted pieces, one-of-a-kind heirloom jewelry available to you. And on top of all of this, Genesis has the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches in America. And if you're dreaming of a Rolex, come see the pristine pre-owned models they have in stock right now. Hundreds to pick from. And best part about it, the people. Nobody's on commission at Genesis Diamonds. They work in your best interest, and they have a passion for making every customer a Raven fan. They've made me one for sure. Whatever you need in jewelry, this is hands down the best place to go. Genesis Diamonds, located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Tuesday morning continues on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, where we know G4 pilots on a first-name basis for 4 hours a morning.
No.
Yeah, we know.
We know.
That's Ramon Foster of 11-year NFL veteran status and of Titans Radio.
Yeah.
And joining us on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, he is 3HL and SEC Networks. Ron Slay. We just got all sorts of credentials, all kind of, resumes that got to be updated between the family here in Ramon and Slay. What's up, Slay? How are you?
What's happening?
How we doing?
Man, y'all got me riled up this morning, man. Why? Because I got good combo. You know how I feel when y'all have good combo, man.
Hey, take that surprise.
I'm hot. I can't get in there this morning, man. This is going to be good energy, dog.
Hey, the floor is yours.
Long.
That's right.
Yeah, man. It's a unique situation in conversation, Savage, today. That's for sure, man. Especially we talking about being pros. We talk about like what's fair and what's not fair. Like if you want to explain to the people what's fair when you become a pro, this ain't college no more, sir. No, let me reframe this. This ain't college of the early 2000s and 90s and 80s.
Yep.
Now, there we go. The transfer portal changed a lot.
Yes, it did. And then the most difficult thing, man, the way people get courted in high school, coming out as 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, whatever star you are. And then when you arrive at college, because of what the transfer portal does, it starts to make you feel like you really hold the keys and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you still got to show and prove every single day. It's not about getting courted. So once you get to the pro level, man, it's almost a culture shock in the sense that you're not getting courted that way no more. You like, oh no, this not how it's supposed to be, and it's hard to shake that off.
Yeah.
If you ain't got a good support group or a good veteran that's in your corner trying to teach you the ropes, it's gonna be difficult, man. You can get lost in the sauce and you can fall by the wayside real easily and be one of them stories that you trying to make a comeback 6 years later and they not waiting. So it's different, man. I had a legend tell me, man, the great Ed Martin, basketball coach, used to have the big man camps over in Hawaii with Pete Newell and everything like that. Legendary coach. Look him up. He always told me, man, you know, when you sit down and talk after camps, he would be like, man, what you think about this guy? And everybody that started and said, man, you know what, man, he a good dude. He said, no, stop it right there. Kind of like Coach Mack would do. Stop you in your tracks. Hey, man, we're not trying to have no good guy contest. If you want him in a good guy contest, put him in that. That's not what these leagues are made out of. They will get you up out of here. It's about production, regardless if it's fair or not. When your opportunity knocks, you have to be willing to answer that door and answer it fully. If not, you looking through the peephole, that right there might get you cut because somebody coming to answer that door behind you.
Yeah.
Ron Slay with us here on RKW. And Slay, that's the conversation around Malik Willis where fans, you can tell, are torn over wanting to be loyal to a guy who was being propped up as maybe the next guy this time last year. And now at this point, we're talking about his fate already being sealed with Will Levis being drafted behind him. But where are you at with him? What is your confidence level in Malik Willis making the 53-man roster?
Man, I first before that, I haven't wavered on where I am with him. I said coming into it, it's a 2-year process before we even know what he could be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Potential-wise, like that's the difference when you start throwing names out and saying who he compared to and things of that nature. People automatically put that image in their mind. We start hearing he has a work ethic like Steve McNair. So automatically we're like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, McNair. Whoa, okay,
Yeah.
let's jump on that ship. And it's kind of unfair, but as an analyst or a person talking about the game, it's only fair to do that because you won't know anybody else. If I say, man, what about it, man? He's just like Joe Young, man, that played at Arizona State, man, back in '86. Everybody gonna be like, man, what is he talking about? So you got to use people like that, you know, to attach the likeness to them. But right now, man, I honestly, hearing the way they spoke about him coming out of OTAs, and I've been told to keep my powder dry on that because they're not wearing pads or anything. I heard about the strides being made, but just like he made strides, you can't sit here and think that a guy like Will Levis isn't going to make strides either. You know what I'm saying? Coming into camp and when you get ready to put pads on. So, and who would have more of the benefit of the doubt? To me, it's going to be Will Levis, just for the simple fact he hasn't been thrown in the fire. You don't know what you're going to get yet, but you do like the potential like you did in Malik Willis. So if he got his opportunity, game 7, game 8, whatever it may be, and he shined, guess what? Okay, we rolling with it. If not, we'll be having the same conversation about him next year.
Oh. And Will and I have an open bet. Okay, I said they carry 3 quarterbacks. I just got to continue to say it because I need people to hold me accountable. If I'm wrong, I'm going to be wrong, Savage. I'm going to live that life too, okay? My chest, I'll be Mr. Big Chest like Antonio Brown a few years back from them 50 push-ups.
If you see me in the gym trying to do 50 push-ups, just leave me alone. Let me be. I'm good. I'm just getting ready.
I do think, I mean, Savage, you said it. Jim Wyatt said it earlier in the summer, man. He does see a situation where they could carry 3 quarterbacks. I think, man, they do, especially if the talk is like it was coming out of OTAs. If we don't see one of them take the next step and stride into that second spot and kind of leave the other behind, I think they do take 3 in. But man, I heard you earlier, Savage. Getting that DeAndre Hopkins trade, man. That acquisition, that kind of left you in a, man, let's go win now. Like, what we looking for potential? What we trying to build for? So that kind of threw a monkey wrench in it.
I think that's the case too, man. And just looking at this team offensively, Mike Keith said, I can't, you say it enough, man. He's just like, I don't think I've been this optimistic. No, this excited for a football season than I have since 1999. Is that where you are right now, too, as far as this 2023 season? Because I also heard you go at the Houston Oilers or people back in Texas and say, yo, couldn't be my team, and this is left to us right now. Like, are you that excited to tell Houston to just calm down because we own the Oilers now?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to make sure all flights get canceled to Houston, all flights get canceled out of Houston. Like, I want them to waddle in misery. I'm cool with that. I want them to just have to have panic attacks. They should ought to have the little brown paper bag. They shouldn't even have the asthma inhaler. They should have to use the brown paper bag. That's what I want. That's the kind of suffering I want them to do since they're going to keep whining. Outside of that, though, yeah, I am excited about it, man, but I am pumping my brakes a little bit because I'm going in it, man, and I'm going to stand on what I said in the beginning. I got to see, relating to y'all question that was asked earlier about who's the most important that you want to see take the next step. Mm-hmm. Mine is the offensive line, man, as a unit. I said it coming into camp, OTAs. I said it going into the draft. They did address that, but then you got the situation with MPF. So now not only do I need to see it from the offensive line as a unit, I need to see it from the defensive line too. Yeah. Like, let's go win the trenches. You know what I'm saying? I need the defense to continue being that nasty, hit you in the mouth, chase you down, man, get sick of getting hit like this type of defense. And I need the offense for them to be like, man, we're not getting drugged through practice. Now, Vrabel, don't call the horses off. Let them go get them. Let them go get them. Like, make them, you know what I mean, they have to catch up until you have to be like, all right, yeah. Okay, they lost themselves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then once they get there one day, defense, go get them again. You know, iron sharpens iron, man, and that's exactly what I expect. You want to be able to get back, even though you got Hopkins, Kyle Phillips, Traylon Burks, Teague, Tajay Spears sprinkled in like South Bay. But outside of that, man, if you can get the opportunity to get back to who you are physicality-wise, man, now we talking. Because there's still a dude back there, man, that polished up the crown like Jerry the King Lawler. Yeah. He'll never put it down. All he do is put it up. And he got his dreads shaking. Let's go to work. Come downhill. Hit you in the mouth. It's football time. You feel what I'm saying? That's what Vrabel do. Man, we want to see Vrabel grabbing his little knees, stretching his little khakis out, and time to get to work. You know what I mean? That's when you know it's rolling.
See, this is why I went so hard when I played, because I knew if I didn't, I was going to hear from him on Monday, okay? This is why I'm almost ready to go play. Where my shoulder pads at, Dre?
Hey, man, it's serious, though, Savage. This is what we do, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you get closer, you have all these times, man, in the workouts, man, and out here in this humidity when you asking yourself, man, why you keep doing it, man? Savage, give me the call. Hey, dog, I need you out here. I'm on the way. What I'm out here for? No apparent reason but to push with my dog. So once I'm out there with my dog, I'm locked in and let's go. I'm invested. You invested even more. I got to see you. I got to see you see it through. And now that I'm out there doing that, I feel like I can talk a little trash too. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Now I get to rep the way I want to rep. And if you don't like it, guess what? Stop me. Come on out there in the mornings. I challenge you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's what all bleeds over to into camp. You know what I mean? Then you carry that same mentality. Everybody else is, as the O-line been working as a unit, man, we're not accepting nothing. Oh, buddy right here, the second-year guy want to get froggy. Pounce. Let's get him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to see. Brewer, I want to see Brewer say, hey, man, hey, Skoronski, no, you ain't got to accept that. No, not. I tell you what. Hey, Tanner, I know what you got going on, man. Call hot, man. We check out of this. We're going to double this dude. We're going to drive him all the way to the church.
Yeah.
And make him get holy water put on him.
Hallelujah.
Let's roll. That's what we need. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's funny, by the way, Slade, DeMario in the F&M Bank chat says, oh, now Ramon's ready to play. All this time we asked and we needed Ramon to play. He said no. Ron makes one speech and Ramon's ready to play. We should have done this from the beginning. Slade, where were you last year when Dennis Daly was out there playing left tackle? Ramon at least could have been better than Dennis Daly at left tackle last year.
They wouldn't let me get close, dog. They wouldn't
right.
let me get close to Daly, man. He only let if you wasn't in pass protection, man, you couldn't get close.
Hey, DeMario, you not wrong, man. Blame Slade, man. Blame him.
I love it. Slade, our
I
guest.
tell you what, though, man.
Yeah.
Just the energy, though, dog. You know what I mean? This is what we've been waiting on. We said, man, the closer we get, you can feel it building up. And, man, I honestly, man, listen to y'all conversation, man, y'all had me feeling it, dog. I'm going to eat my eggs and cheese and toast, you know what I mean? Welch's grape, you know what I mean? Little night suspension water, washing it down. I said, golly, man, I ought to go in there early on them, man, and just bombard the whole studio like Titans Radio did. I said, but I ain't got them credentials, so they might put me out. So I stood on down and waited on my phone call.
Hey, you know what's crazy, y'all? If you can't tell, Ron Slade is a basketball player because of body type, right? That's just what we are. This dude, heart and soul, is on a football gridiron. And I think y'all need to recognize that moving forward.
That's right.
Well, you've seen him at Tennessee in Knoxville.
Yeah.
What is he like at Tennessee? He's an honorary football
He's him.
player. He's a football player. I'm like, dude,
Hey, man.
you led her 4 years in basketball.
It's different, dog. That's who you come up with, man. That's kind of what you embody, man. You know what I'm saying? And I will say this, man. When you get the opportunity to be around success, that kind of bleeds over, man. That's why I'm so excited to see, man, and anxious to see what this defense brings out of the O-line. Because I remember when you said y'all went through y'all situations and transitions, you know what I mean, where the offense was carrying it, you know, and then you could feel it transition when the defense was carrying it. And then it was like, hey, man, come on, y'all, we got to pull our weight too. And when it finally clicked, it was on, you know. So that's what I want to see, man. When you got young guys and you go into training camp, man, it's a filling out process, man. But when you're the leaders, and that's what you got on the defensive side, especially in the trenches, and you got guys itching to get back, like we want to see what Harold Landry going to do too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I heard you talk about, you know what I mean, Arden Key, like you got guys, man, that's right there waiting to prove something, and they want to incorporate themselves in their defense. The only way you can do that is come in with a nasty mentality.
Yeah.
The only way you can practice that is if the offensive line going to hold up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's going to have to be some shoves and things like that, man, because you don't want to get pushed over, dog. And then at the same time, the defense want to test you. When you get out there in Kansas City and you need to get a stop, we get that stop and we get you the ball back. You can't push it down the field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we want, man. Give Ryan Tannehill, I heard the call in talk about Ryan Tannehill, what they going to bring back. Man, be who you were last year, Tannehill.
Yeah.
Be that person, but with protection. And let's see where the chips fall with another weapon. You know what I mean? Like, man, that's a lot, man. You think King don't want what? Them running back Zoom calls they ain't falling on deaf ears. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
I can promise you that. I guarantee you, all them running backs gonna be calling the King at each other and be like, "Hey, man, you got to bring it this Sunday, dog. We need this for this market. When we go back to the offseason, dog, we gotta have something. We gotta have a leg to stand on. Go to work."
Yeah.
He is Ron Slade, 3 to 6, 3HL. I don't need to tell you where to find him. You know where to find him. Here on 104.5 The Zone, bringing it, got us at a 3-point stance on a Tuesday morning. Slade, thank you as always for the time. We will send you away early this morning. You're the busiest man in showbiz. You got us ready to go.
Hey, man, I'm going here to talk to these teachers, so I'm already riled up. They told me come give the teachers the motivational speech. Guess how I'm going to start it off.
What you going to say?
I'm going to tell I know the children are our future, but I ain't with none of that corny stuff. So listen up. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna dive. I'm gonna dive in, Sammy. I'm diving in, Sammy.
Children are our future, but I'm your present right now, so listen up. Thank you, Slay.
They gonna call you savage, man, and I'm gonna lose it, man. Please tell me if they call you savage.
I got you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. We'll do it again soon.
Oh, Lord.
All right, there's Ron Slay.
You check your heartmeat on your watch yet,
Yeah,
Will?
going up a little bit.
Golly.
Let's see.
Had me going right there.
I think I literally did just get a high heart rate message from my Apple Watch.
I know, that's why
It's the effect Ron Slay has on people.
That's why I had to ask you, Will. I knew it.
Coming up, more of your phone calls, 615-737-1045. Oh, no, that was from earlier. I'm good. I'm calm. I'm great.
You're calm. I know I'm
calm,
not.
cool, collected.
I know I'm not.
Any other C's? Coming up, the New England Patriots didn't get DeAndre Hopkins, but they did add a former Tennessee Volunteer to help fill that void. We'll tell you who that is coming up next on Ramon, Kale, and Will. Wrap it up, hour number 3 on your Tuesday morning. It is Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Get to a reset of the Titans and NFL headlines coming up at 9 o'clock. Also get to what day 1 of camp and report day was like from the player's perspective. Good thing we've got a player that played for 11 years in the NFL in the room.
Never heard of him.
Titans Radio's Ramon Foster.
Yeah.
I'm Will Bowling. Kayla Anderson with the morning off.
Mm-hmm.
We were just watching video of Chikakonkwo and Arden Key making their way into the garage.
Yeah.
Getting out a nice car.
Vet. Nice. Orange. Vols. No, not really Vols orange.
Yeah, it was kind of like old gold. It'd be like if Vandy and Tennessee's colors, like the right in between.
Yeah. That's bad.
Kind of like a shiny.
Yeah.
Like the old Preds alternate jerseys, the mustard yellow.
Yeah, that's about right.
A little bit like that.
Yeah. That's about right.
Talking Titans this morning. Let's get to Jake in the Borough. Tons to discuss with training camp officially getting started today. What's up, Jake?
Morning, Jake.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
So I wanted to start off with I've never gotten to coach of football, but in my year of playing, my coaching perspective, I feel like if I got to coach. Well, it all kind of starts from, high school. You're playing both sides of the ball, and then as you get, older and go into pros, you're just playing one side of the ball. And, to knowing your teammates and, being able to learn multiple positions, that right there in itself, that's what makes a complete team. Like, going back to remember the Titan days where you know your team, you know your player, and if you know all the other positions, you take that all those other positions and you care about it more. You care about your team, your players, your other players' position more. So you know how they're going to react. So what I think they should do in training camp, if some of them don't do it already, is you should, even if it's for a couple days or a week for training, make each player do another position. Make them learn those other positions. Then they know how everybody's going to react. So then you're all in sync.
That's fair.
That's all I had to say, guys.
Thanks, Jake.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate the call. Well, you've got a look on your face.
No, because I'll say this. I understand, it definitely makes sense with everything that he's saying. Like,
sure,
let you understand your teammate. I was a better guard because I understood tackle. Like, that's what I'm saying, too. But in the NFL, like, position security is a thing. Learning to do something else, though, right, Jake, is what I would tell you is this. It puts you behind an 8-ball because you're not working on what you are supposed to be working on. Like a safety learning to play corner or a corner, let's say, being a safety doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Now, film study wise and putting guys in a room together to break down film and get an understanding of the playbook and how that works is totally a different conversation. Yes, I'm with you on that one. Having the quarterbacks in the room with the offensive line, with the running backs and the OL, guess what? We all understand how to be on the same page. One thing that commonly happens in almost every level, college and NFL, the tight ends at some point during the week, probably about one day, will go in the offensive line room and watch tape with them so they can understand blocking schemes and what you're expecting out of the tight end. So tackle tight end combos. Hey, what do you want from me right here? Like that conversation, but specifically working at a position when you're already a starter, that's not an advantage to the team.
Yet I would argue
unless you're
that,
a young player.
Sure. I would argue you've got a lot of guys who are kind of between positions right now who need a more defined role.
There we go.
I think Elijah Molden needs to know if he's a corner or a safety.
Mm-hmm. Or if he's just going to play the slot.
Like I think Roger McCreary needs to know, are you a slot or an outside guy?
Yes.
Versatility helps you until it doesn't, and you're trying to do too many things, and you feel like nobody has a grasp on one position. I feel like that's at times a struggle for that defense in the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Is they haven't been healthy enough to where Roger McCreary has had to play out of position and has had to play outside corner. Do you agree his best position is nickel?
Probably so, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
There's a phrase in the NFL that goes like this: the more you can do, the longer you stay around. That's good for like the first couple of years. And then it's the more you can do, the less you get paid. And the more you can do, the less you're likely to stick around.
Yeah.
Because you're not specific at a position.
Well, and last season, too, I mean, you had Danico Autry playing out of position all year as an edge rusher when, in reality,
he's probably a 3.
He's
can play some 5.
A guy that plays opposite end of Jeffrey Simmons.
Yes.
Is when he's at his best. 615-737-1045. The Patriots have signed Jalen Hurd to play wide receiver. Interesting that is the guy they bring in now as they miss on DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, they're not expecting Jalen Hurd to have DeAndre Hopkins level success, but former Tennessee running back who is now going to try to make an NFL comeback. Drafted in the third round to play receiver by the 49ers, had a back injury in 2019, knee injuries in 2020 and 2021. He never played in a regular season game in San Francisco, was cut in November 2021, and is now back after all of that. 27 years old now, Jalen Hurd.
Came in as a running back.
Hendersonville's own.
Yeah. All I've ever heard about the guy's a monster.
Maybe the best running back in the history of Tennessee high school football.
I got a quick lesson for parents. You never know how your kid's going to turn out. This guy was an All-American football player.
Sure.
And turned into a wide receiver on the pro level.
Coming up, hour number 4 already on a show that has flown by. We'll ask Ramon Foster what day one is like of veterans reporting to camp from the former player's perspective. Coming up next as we begin hour 4 on Ramon, Kalen, Will. Well, would you look at the time? It is hour number 4 already on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, and it's powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. As we continue here with our Titans discussion, Ramon Foster is in the building. Jackson Williams making the show happen. We pulled the righty out of the pen in relief of Robert Walsh this morning. I'm Will Bowling. Kayla Anderson with the morning off. We've got your Not That Guy coming up in 15 minutes. Your chance to proclaim that some man or woman or thing or well, whatever in your life that you say is not that guy. Your opportunity to have a platform.
And stand on it too, Will.
Stand on it. Dust off that soapbox now. That way you can make sure it's still sturdy. There's not any cracks in it. Not a board loose. Is it nailed down?
Sturdy.
Stand on it.
The little dance that the kids do these days, Will, called a sturdy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what it's called. Miles probably going to text me like, no, Dad, that's not the name of it. But it's all good. It's all good.
We're rolling.
Well, we're rolling.
615-737-1045 is the number. Mike Vrabel meets with the media at 11:30 this morning. That will be carried live on the Buck Rising Show here on 104.5 The Zone. And right after that, DeAndre Hopkins' first press conference as a Tennessee Titan, which will be good.
Should be fascinating.
Looking forward to hearing from him. Saquon Barkley agrees to a 1-year, $11 million contract with the New York Giants today. Incentives based on team success in that, potentially where he can, Adam Schefter now says, I'm reading this in real time for the first time, says deal includes $1 million of incentives with an equal amount paid for 1,300 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns, and 65 receptions. $2 million up front signing bonus for Saquon Barkley. Ian Rappaport, just moments ago, NFL Network and NFL Media tweets, with Saquon Barkley locked in, all eyes turn to another talented back, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, who has yet to show up in Indy.
Oh.
He was visibly frustrated with the situation on the running back's Zoom call, and it's clear he wants to be properly compensated, a situation to monitor. Gosh, Jonathan Taylor's not even the best running back in his division, and he's out here trying to not show up to camp.
I knew that was coming somewhere so well.
He's probably frustrated because he has to wear that black helmet.
That's probably what it is. I don't really like that look. I'm going to be honest with you.
I liked it at first, and then I saw a real uniform unveil on Sunday night. It was like, actually, never mind. No, this looks like a team build. Oh, so here's what happened. I liked the black helmet for the Colts. I got roasted. Our guy V-Love, he hate V on Twitter, ratioed me because I said it was a rare Indianapolis W, which it was. But then somebody commented and said, this looks like the create a team that you load in on when you create a new team on Madden, and now I can't unsee it. It was, do you know that? So the team was like the Tiburon Sharks. What is it? So is it like Tiburon, Florida? Is this an actual place? Jackson Williams is our producer. You would probably know a little bit about this too. Yeah, Tiburon is where EA Sports, I think, is located. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Either way, it looks like that.
Yeah. So EA Tiburon is like that's like the company name, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's the flagship studio. Okay, there you go. So they would name like the original team the Tiburon Sharks when you would load in to like create a new team. So I would do this all the time where you like make a new team, like move them to like a random city, you know, like the Jags with London one day. You can build a new stadium.
Yeah.
And literally the team you would load in on are like all blue with a black helmet.
Okay.
And that's what Indy looks like.
I've never been a huge fan of the all black with the Duke blue color.
Yeah, it looks like Duke too.
Yeah, I just never have been a fan of that. Like, I get it. Everybody wants the black jerseys and stuff like that. Black with the blue just never hit with me the same way as another color what black would do. It's kind of weird. Probably my Kentucky hate coming up. Let me correct that. You ready? Because we're close to football season.
Hit me.
It's probably my Kentucky hate.
There you go.
We're back.
Proud of you.
We're back.
Really proud of you.
We're back, Will.
Yeah, the question I have is, does Indy have to pay royalties to Duke the way every team that wears the Green Bay Packers G has to pay royalties to the Green Bay Packers?
I would almost expect so at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair question to ask.
It is. But Jonathan Taylor's situation, though, if I'm any running back right now, if I've had really good, solid seasons, guess what? I'm going back to the table. Y'all, I'm going to force y'all to try to pay me. It's what's got to happen right now, especially if you have the leverage. Jonathan Taylor, I think, has some leverage for sure, although last season wasn't the season he was looking for.
Yep. A little bit. 615-737-1045. Rob is in Nashville, up next with us here on the phone lines. What's up, Rob?
Hey, guys, check this out. Hey, doing y'all commercials and all, I just heard the best news ever. You know what? I heard the best news. This is the most exciting news I've heard. You know, to hear what I heard today, first of all, I had been struggling, trying to figure out which team I was going to go with when Tom Brady left. Okay. Patriots always been my team. I ain't going to lie. Tom Brady, it made it a little bit easier to be a Patriots fan. But when he went to Tampa Bay, I had to jump on that bandwagon. Okay, I'm a fan on wheels, whatever. But to hear today that Jalen Hurts went to the Patriots, that's the most exciting news ever. These Titans fans better be scared now. Because I tell you, the Patriots is back on the map. And I'm so excited today. I'm so excited because it's going to be a new beginning again. That's all I got, guys.
Hey.
Thank you, Rob.
Hey, Rob called and said, we back.
So I guess there's Jalen Hurts' uncle, cousin.
What he
Somebody
say?
loves Jalen Hurts.
What he say? Usually will. What Stringer Bell say? Hey, let him know the towers are back up. Oh, that's exactly what's going on, man. He is all for it.
That's funny.
But hey, Jalen Hurts has a fan club. Again, I'm
happy
happy for him. I didn't expect to hear his name on a Tuesday morning here. I did not, and I'm not saying that disrespectfully.
So Jameson on the FNM Big Chat says, does he think we said Jalen Hurts? Why would Jalen Hurts have signed a contract with the Patriots?
No,
Jalen Hurts has a contract.
You know exactly who he is. I've never heard fan on wheels, though. That was good. That was real good. I'm a fan on wheels.
Anyway.
Do we got to consider him a bandwagoner? He said it. Yeah.
Being a Patriots fan in Middle Tennessee?
And then going down to Tampa also. Kind of. He was looking for a team.
He said he was a Tampa fan?
He did say he was a Tampa fan. Yeah. When Tom Brady went down there. He said, I'm a fan on wheels.
I don't see any scenario of liking that.
Oh, man. That's tough.
615-737-1045 if you want to jump in and get first in the queue for You're Not That Guy coming up in 10 minutes. What was report day like for veterans at training camp? What are veterans doing today?
More relaxed. Just getting in, getting to your room. We were in dorms, so it's a little bit different. Walking into the building, getting your key, getting your administrative stuff, and then heading over to the training room, the makeshift training room that we had at St. Vincent College.
Okay.
To get our physicals, hey, everything good? You coming back healthy? Do we need to see you about anything? That's the thing that's unique about the NFL, too. You don't actually go in there and do the whole physical the way you think you do. It's just, hey, did you come back with any injuries? No. We did your physicals in the spring. Everything still checks out. All right, fine. You ready to go run a conditioning test? All right, let's roll. It was real quick, bam, and out the way. But then from there, you understand what the condition test is. We had 8 110s or 8 150s. Sprint a 50, sprint 100, jog a 50, walk back. I'd much rather have done the long distance stuff just to open up and get loose instead of having to. Oh, no. And I talked to some guys that play with the Titans, so I think, what is it, the 300-yard shuttle?
Yeah.
No. It's other teams that had that too, like having to do like 12 300-yard shuttles timed. And they're really on the line watching you. Like, that, to me, is a little bit too strenuous to open up camp with. I don't know. I've never been a fan of that one. But the 300-yard shuttle works. We did it a few times in college. I hated every minute of it. Golly, that 50 and back sucks, Will. 3 times over? Goodness gracious.
So there's the beep test now.
What's the beep test?
Y'all never did the beep test?
Never heard of the beep test.
That is more of an endurance sport thing. We never did it because, our practice is endurance running. But it's basically you speed up, I think, at the beep.
Yeah.
Every time. And you're just down and back a field, and you just got to keep going until the beep's either end. Somebody could give us more clarity on that probably.
I never understood that.
But the beep test was one that was like you just keep running and you like speed up when you hear the beep and you slow down when you hear the next beep.
Almost like the
That
snake
kind of
run,
thing.
really.
Kind of.
Yeah, almost like the snake run.
Yeah.
Only condition test I absolutely hated and dreaded was my junior year. We had those 3110s. 16 of them, you broke it down like this. 16 were timed. You need to make the times in this one.
Okay.
The rest of them is, hey, you better make them, just to prove our endurance. We did 30 of them, dude, and I thought I was in good shape then, but it was a bunch of guys that were really hurting well. It just sounded bad. You say 3110s? That sounds like a long day.
3110s is that's a lot of 110s. It's a lot of running.
That's a long day. But the first day of training camp for the guys, condition tests out the way, meetings all evening, and then the next day is go mode. I just hated that first night of meetings, reviewing the spring tape.
How sore would you be for the first practice just based off running?
Oh, I'd be good. Because we were just opening up. It wasn't necessarily a grind for us. The first day after the first practice, though, that's a different conversation. Because listen, absolutely nothing can prepare you for football movement other than football.
It's fair. Very fair. 615-737-1045, the number. Coming up, our time to declare that people in our lives are not that guy. Anything you have to complain about over the last week, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's in traffic, whether it's scrolling Twitter in traffic, anything in between. 615-737-1045. You're not that guy. Coming up on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. It is time to complain on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. You're Not That Guy. Tuesdays here on 104.5 The Zone with Ramon Foster and Jackson Williams, our producer.
Yeah.
I'm Will Bowling. Kayla Anderson with the morning off. 615-737-1045 if you would like to declare someone or something in your life as not that guy. Could be anything in the world. 615-737-1045. Jackson Williams, are you prepared after the 15 minutes of notice we gave you to complain about something in your life?
I can always complain.
Oh, good. I knew I could count on you. As Tennessee grads, we certainly are always ready.
I forget about Jackson sometimes being a Tennessee grad,
How
man.
could you?
Yeah, I don't know how I could, man, but that's on me, Jack. Don't feel bad.
Take the surprise out your voice.
I should.
Thanks so
I
much.
should. You're welcome.
Jackson, hit the music. Let's get this started.
In true sports fashion, the winners are praised and the losers find out. You are not him. You are not him. It's time to play. You're not that guy, pal. Trust me, you're not that guy.
That is right. You're Not That Guy. Tuesdays on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. And the newest member of Titans Radio, our 11-year NFL veteran on training camp report day, Ramon Aloysius Foster, leads us off this morning.
I'll be quick because we got people lined up to hit this one, Will. It's this for me, man. It goes like this. If you ever go at an athlete, understand why they get very defensive. Well, guess what? A couple kids at a camp this past week with Cam Newton went at him, called him over, and Cam entertained it. And I love the fact when athletes entertain stuff sometimes, okay? And these kids called him over just to mock him. Bro, how many rings you got? How many rings you got? Just mocking him real quick, and Cam laughing. He was like, dude's like, I got none. And dude was like, yeah, you do, just like me. He's like, but our bank accounts aren't the same, though. And at that point, I was like, you know what? If you don't win the ring, number 1 overall draft pick, Heisman winner, huge bank Cam made $133 million in his career. You know what, kid? Eat it, because you tried to play a victim after the fact, and sometimes kids do have to be humble. So, Jackson, if you can hit that for us again, pow.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
So,
I thought it was fair.
To clarify, the You're Not That Guy is to Cam Newton or to the kids?
To the kids.
To the kids.
Yes.
I almost did this exact same thing and said it to Cam Newton.
Yeah. Oh, I
almost went the other way.
I was with Cam. Don't play the victim after trying to call me out and embarrass me. Yeah,
that's fair.
Because that's the one thing that we don't have the same. We have no rings together, but guess what? You got to go home to mom's basement.
You come with the king, you best not miss.
You best not miss.
That's fair.
I'd have been okay if you gone the other way, too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Complaints all around.
Yeah. Yep.
My You're Not That Guy goes to Chris Vanini, a writer for The Athletic. And Chris, I'm not trying to personally call you out, even though I kind of just did, but you represent a dumb part of the Twitter population who believes, according to your tweet, that the Tennessee Titans have zero claim to Houston Oilers throwbacks. And yeah, maybe I'm taking the low-hanging fruit, or maybe I'm taking the easy path. But you know what? This time I am taking the road more traveled by, and it's still going to make all the difference. To the idiots out there who believe that the Adams family and the Tennessee Titans organization do not have ownership of a team that they have owned since the league started, in the Oilers, in the logo, in the uniforms. Chris Vanini tweeting out over the weekend, the rule should be if a city loses a pro sports team but gets a new one, that new team gets the lore. Texans get Oilers throwbacks, not the Titans. Minnesota Wild get the North Stars, not Dallas. Hey, Houston, you gave up the rights to the Oilers when you refused to build them a new stadium. And then when you rebranded your new team, you chose again not to name them the Oilers, because still the family that moved away from your crappy stadium took that brand and identity with them. If Warren Moon, an Oilers legend, can get behind wearing Oilers jerseys and saying "Go Titans" here in Tennessee, then idiots with blue check marks who write about college football should be able to wrap their pretty little heads around the exact same thing. So, meanwhile, Baltimore, you get the Colts back, I guess. Oh, and the Lakers, you belong to Minneapolis. Oh, and by the way, your Texans franchise, that would actually belong to Dallas.
Ooh.
Or Kansas City, because you weren't first to call yourself Texans. So a fan base can't complain about losing ownership over a brand when you lost ownership of the Texans brand that you're claiming from another city. Chris Vanini and blue check marks everywhere complaining about the Oilers. I say to you,
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Thank you so much.
that was good.
Jackson Williams batting third.
All right, you're not that guy. It's got to go to Isaiah Wilson, man. How do you get suspended? You have not been on a practice squad since 2021, and you have to remind us that you existed in the NFL for a period of time. I'm sure Isaiah Wilson, I don't know what he did. Does anybody know what Isaiah Wilson did?
We think gambling, but we really don't know.
How do you get fired how do you get fired when you've already been fired? This is like a job firing you, then calling you back to fire you again. Isaiah Wilson.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Not that guy.
That's tough, Jackson, when you break it down like that.
Honestly, I think this segment was made for Isaiah Wilson. Isaiah Wilson, not that guy, literally in any context. Not in his rap career, not in his yachting career.
Yeah.
Not in his driving career.
That was good right there. I can't even front.
Solid lineup from us.
Solid lineup from
proud of us.
Y'all.
I'll take the surprise out of my voice, but I'm proud of us.
I'm a little surprised still. It's all good.
The specifics, by the way, on my rant. The Dallas Texans played in the NFL in 1952. So by Texans fans' logic, they are no longer allowed to use Texans because it was already taken.
And L.A. got to give that ring back to St. Louis.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Joey in Cross Plains leads us off on You're Not That Guy. If you have a rant to go on here in hour number 4, you've got the floor at 615-737-1045. Good morning, Joey.
Good morning, Joey.
Morning, Ramon. Morning, Will. So last night after church, or during church, towards the end of it, we got into some, cutting up ghost stories and stuff like that, talking about the Bell Witch and the Bell Witch Cave and everything. So last night on the way home, my road has no streetlights on it. So a quarter mile in on my road, there is a guy in full camo just walking down the side of the road. Andrew starts to he's like, dude, what are you doing? And so about another quarter mile down the road, there are two people on the other side of the road. The young lady has a flashlight. The gentleman has a camera. And Andrew starts to freak out again. So then we get to the house, and he's like, you're not going anywhere. He's like, sit here for a minute. And I'm like, well, what's up? He's like, man, I need to go find Blue's Clues, SpongeBob. He goes, Teletubbies. He goes, no, those are creepy. He said, those are creepies I'll get out. I'm like, yeah, stay away from those.
Yeah.
But to the people walking down the side of the road with dark clothing on, that's very dangerous. You could get hit or something else could happen to you. So wear some reflective clothing or light clothing to where we can tell you're there.
You're not that guy. Hit him with it, Jackson.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
That's a good one.
I'm with him on that one.
Anyone who is running or walking when it's dark outside, help me help you not get hit by my vehicle.
Please.
I don't care what the vehicle is.
Yeah.
But, that's fair.
That's fair. Especially when you coming from getting a blessing yourself. You're not trying to be you're not trying to be an issue to nobody else. Joey, that's very fair right there. You're not that guy. Why are you walking at night in a non-lit road anyway?
Yeah, it's not great. Or even if you're on a bike.
Yeah.
I need a light. I need a reflective vest of some sort. You can get those things anywhere now.
I was going to say, give me the reflective vest.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
Goody is in Rochester up next with You're Not That Guy. 615-737-1045. Good morning, Goody.
Morning, Goody.
Morning, guys. How we doing?
Good. Good morning.
Good.
Morning.
Blowing out the speakers. Goodness.
That's my bad.
Bringing it. No, that's
so,
all right.
I'm gonna go back a week to an individual. Now that Hopkins is signed, sealed, delivered, I'm gonna go back to Mr. Matthew Judon and his fake news tweet. His ability to recruit fellow NFL players is god awful. What's he like, 0 for 17? Like, just terrible. So he's just not that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got one more, and this is just the low-hanging fruit, is Ramon for continuing not having a Twitter account. So that's just another not my guy.
That should be a weekly You're Not That Guy. Thank you, Goody.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
It's a good one.
I made the list, man. That's fair.
Elon Musk, not that guy for changing Twitter to X.
What do we even call it these days now?
Well, it was funny the other day because I asked somebody, I was like, oh, so, it's going to be called X now? And then my next question was, why?
Yeah.
XY.
XY.
Thank you. Okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. No, you didn't have to laugh. It's okay.
I laughed. It was real. It was real. You're not that guy. But what's funny is, unless it was fake news on my burner account, Microsoft already owns X. So how Twitter's going to become X, I don't know.
Isn't that just Xbox?
No, I think they filed for the entire thing.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It's just like different variations, I think, of the money bag, too. Like Gene Simmons owns the money bag. Using that, you have to pay him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, like the Cleveland Guardians, who got sued by like a roller derby team.
Uh-huh.
That was also called the Guardians.
Well.
When they changed their name.
As long as it's in paper, you can't do that unless you buy it out.
615-737-1045. If you would like to complain with us, going after Isaiah Wilson, who deserves to be gone after pretty much any time. They probably can't block us when we try to. Ramon Foster going after kids at football camps, and I'm going after athletic college football writers.
Hey, the only reason I call the kids out because kids can be mean. They really can, just in general, right? And I'm not saying it's like I'm Mr. Sensitivity out here. What I'm saying is this. Kids will throw rocks and hide their hands. And I think that's why I sided with Cam more on this one, just simply because he was like, well, you're a professional athlete. You shouldn't be acting like this. Like, no, dog. You tried to embarrass me with your friend holding his phone up. Because of that, I'd have the right to kind of just crash on you however I choose to.
Yeah, I can confirm that as a former kid.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So that was the one that kind of got me on that one.
Yeah.
Matthew Judon calling out players. I think that's so hit or miss when it comes down to you trying to recruit somebody.
Yeah, his tweet was basically he just said fake news when it was tweeted out that Hopkins was going to be a Titan.
Ooh. He must have hit. Never mind. I was about to say. I'm not
going to say what?
No, it's inappropriate. I will not take that low-hanging fruit right there. I'll tell you off air on that one.
Unbelievable.
I know. That's some major tease right there.
I know.
I had another one, too, Will, that was not that guy. I saw a commercial that really just ticked me off, man.
Okay.
And it was no brand to be named here, but gourmet pretzels.
What's wrong with gourmet pretzels?
I saw a commercial about it. Why are we hyping up pretzels? Why? Like,
what's wrong with pretzels?
Stop with like the fake food trends. Like nobody asked for a 30-second into like gourmet pretzels in the summertime, and it's not even a holiday season. Like, what do we need these commercials? Like, either I like the regular kinds, or I'm gonna go find a different kind. Why do you have to put this in front of my face? Okay, and you want me to see the commercial? Like, oh, I want those. Like, that made zero sense to me that we're really out here advertising gourmet pretzels. What's gourmet about sourdough dough being baked into a pretzel? That bothered me a little bit. Well, it's like, stop. Nobody's really asking for this. So for the people that have gourmet pretzel commercials, Jackson, can you please hit them with it?
Jackson's on the phone.
Jackson's on the phone.
You're
not that guy right now. So it was
not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
It just bothered me, Will, in the worst way.
Let's go to Shelby in Nashville up next. 615-737-1045. What's up, Shelby?
Hey, guys. What's up? Love your show.
Thank you.
Listening this morning, and I've got a story. I'm an in-home salesman, so I go home to home. And I've got what I've always called flat ears. My dad has flat ears. I've got flat ears. My daughter actually has my same ears. They're flat. And so, growing up in school, kids sometimes would ask me about them. Every now and then I get made fun of. It's not a big deal. I own it. I've got flat ears. And so a couple weeks ago, I'm in a sales appointment in a guy's home, and we're not even there for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And the guy says to me, he says, "Hey, I just got to ask you a question." He's kind of a good old boy. He's older. He says, you got cauliflower growing out of your ears? I said, "Excuse me? What do you mean? What are you talking about?"
What?
"Do you have cauliflower growing out of your ears? What's wrong with your ears?" And I just, kind of politely said, "Well, honestly, I was born this way. My ears have always looked like this. In fact, my dad has them and my daughter has them." So he kind of backtracked a little bit. He said, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'm into boxing. I love watching boxing, and so I thought maybe you were just a fighter and you were a boxer." And so I kind of understood what he was saying for a second, but then I said, this is how I responded to him, and then I'll hang up. I said, No, sir. I'm sorry. I'm not a boxer. I never got in the ring with Mike Tyson. But I just wanted to say the same thing to him. I said, man, you're not that guy. Come on. I appreciate you guys today.
You're not that guy, pal.
Thank
Trust
you,
me.
Shelby.
You're not that guy.
You gotta kind of know somebody for more than 10 minutes to, make a comment like that.
Especially when it's something personal, like on the body. Like, I'll never ask a woman, you pregnant?
That's a great call.
You know what I'm
Probably
saying?
not a great idea.
When it's something personal, just don't ask, man. He probably could have made you feel bad. He said, man, you ever boxed before? It's like, oh, no, I never have, man. Why? It's like, man, that was a match coming up this weekend. He could have flipped that so many different ways. Like you said, he was an old dude. Hey, push him out, man. I hope you got the sale, though.
615-737-1045 as we continue with You're Not That Guy. It's really funny that we got Bucket on Twitter says, leave it to the black and yellow guy to hate on pretzels that are delicious with beer.
No.
Leave it to the Steeler guy.
No, man. I'm talking about the gourmet pretzels, okay? Jael in the F&M Bank chat said this. I was wondering where my wife just bought some jalapeno and ranch pretzels. Don't know where she got it from. That's all I'm telling you. Like, if they're in the store, they're there. But the fact that you got to put a commercial on for us to show us pretzels with chocolate and nuts and candy and caramel drizzled all over them, I probably just sold them to a couple folks right there. Like, nobody was asking for that commercial in the summertime. It's not a good office gift to pass out either. And the fact that you're charging me $35 for a box of pretzel bothered me.
I don't know why you're hating on pretzels. That's just such a random thing
$35
to not like.
For a box?
Okay, that's fair.
Like, don't upsell me on something that, like, seasonal in the summertime. You're right. It's salt bread, Zach Bunch.
Salt bread. We've got some other signings going on in the NFL as camps begin. We've got a comeback in the NFL of a veteran that is going back to one of his old places of employment in the NFC South, who will see the Titans in Week 1. The Saints making a move, bringing back a former Saint. We'll get to that, plus your final calls for You're Not That Guy, coming up as we wrap up the show on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Wrapping up our Tuesday morning on RKW, it's powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. As we remind you that coming up next, you can hear Mike Vrabel's introductory press conference from training camp at 11:30 live on the Buck Rising Show. And you can hear DeAndre Hopkins meet with the media at noon as well. 615-737-1045. Our last call for phone calls on You're Not That Guy. Jimmy Graham is signing with the New Orleans Saints, Ramon Foster.
Oh.
A comeback for a man who played 15 games, most recently in 2021, and only had 14 catches for 167 yards the last time we saw him.
Yeah.
Has not gone over 500 yards since 2018 as a member of the Green Bay Packers when he had 89 catches for 636 yards. Goes back to New Orleans where he spent 2010 to 2014. I got to be honest, seeing him being signed, I thought it was more likely he'd be signed in order to retire as a Saint versus playing as a Saint, but that's apparently what he's going to try to do.
You tell me he signed. I thought it was to a network as far as being an analyst.
Right.
It's always fascinating for guys that sign later in their careers like this. They're like, what's the motivation? Where are you at on this? I know there's no other job like playing in the NFL. Heck, a lot of people chop off their right arm to have that opportunity. You know, so he's maximizing every single one that he has. And hey, man, hats off to him for being able to roll that long.
He will turn 37 this season.
We're the
Jimmy
same
Graham.
age.
Yeah,
he's playing. Oh, jeez,
there's still time.
Nah, I'm good.
Titans need a right tackle.
But that's the thing. He played last year, right?
No.
He didn't play last year.
He did not play last year. So, Ramon, there's still time.
He's veteran enough to not be a camp body. He should make the team with his name and just his career path. I'm just shocked that he actually is getting the opportunity.
Some breaking news from Shams Charania of Stadium, who writes that USC All-American and LeBron James' son, Bronny, collapsed on the court Monday and had cardiac arrest.
Wow.
He was taken to the hospital and is now in stable condition and no longer in the ICU. Writing that medical staff was able to treat and take him to the hospital. He is now in stable condition. His family asking for respect and privacy. LeBron and Savannah wish to publicly send their deepest thanks and appreciation to the USC medical and athletic staff for their incredible work and dedication to the safety of their athletes. Wow. Scary stuff.
That's scary. Wow. Well, as a father, as a human being.
Yeah.
Golly.
Crazy. Coming up, we get back to the phone, 615-737-1045. Let's go to Ryan in Lebanon. Next up on You're Not That Guy. What's up, Ryan?
What's up, guys? How are y'all?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning. To all 8 people that voted for Vanderbilt, you're not that guy. Not yet. Football team, Vanderbilt football team, you're not that guy yet. Go Vols, y'all.
Go Vols.
Thank you, Ryan.
Hit him with it.
That is awesome. Yeah, so essentially, if you missed it last week, 8 people voted for Vanderbilt to win the SEC 8 people picked Vandy to win the SEC East. 5 people picked Vanderbilt to win the SEC in football.
That's so true.
I have to preface in football. No, the SEC baseball poll does not happen until next spring, until I guess next February. So maybe we jumped the gun. Look, if we as Nashvilleians want to have nice things, and get events to come back in our city, we can't be doing this.
Please,
we
stop.
can't.
What are we getting ourselves into, right?
I mean, granted, all respect to Vandy and Clark Lee, and I think they've got a pretty decent shot at postseason football and being bowl eligible this season. But what are we doing?
Yeah. What you say? It's just one of them situations. Just say we working. And also, honestly, I'll say this for you big J journalists or whoever get the opportunity to vote on stuff like this, don't do that, though.
I'll tell you one story, though, from when I was a beat writer covering Tennessee. So I always tell you the story that the one season I covered Tennessee as a full-time beat writer in 2017 is the worst season in the history of Tennessee football.
Mm-hmm.
They're 4-8.
Yeah.
Only 8-loss season in the 130-year history of Tennessee football, 125-year history of Tennessee football.
Mm-hmm.
So I was credentialed for SEC Media Days for the first time that year.
Yeah.
It's me and one of my buddies who's our photographer. I'm not going to name because of the way the story goes. And there was still some optimism around Tennessee that year. I mean, Dobbs was gone. You had Quentin Dormady and Jarrett Garantano who were battling for the quarterback job. You had Larry Scott, offensive coordinator. It was Butch's last season at Tennessee. And you had some optimism like, we're going to see if they can reload. And, maybe they're 8-4 last year. And, they lost to Carolina and Vandy and missed out on an opportunity, to play for the Sugar Bowl. But maybe 2 people voted for Tennessee to win the SEC East that season.
Gosh.
And one of them was my buddy that I was working with at this website.
Your buddy. It's not that guy.
2 people. And I remember him being like, kind of squirming. He was like, I really thought more people would vote for Tennessee to win the SEC East.
He was like me saying the Vols.
I was like, I think I had us 3rd or 4th, buddy. Like, I don't.
Come on, man. He's like me saying the Vols was going to go 8-2 that year, the COVID year.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Hey, again, never live it down.
Pete in the Borough finishes off. You're not that guy. We've got about 60 seconds here, Pete, so we got to be quick. What's going on?
Bang him out, Pete.
Just wanted to say that for RKW and the show, you guys are the guy.
Thank you.
Used to not listen to the show and kind of got burnt out on it because you guys hit the nail on the head back in the day when you called it petty, because it kind of was petty. But didn't like it, and now that the changes have been made, and with Will and Kayla, and seeing what Ramon's gone through in the past couple of years, man, y'all are awesome, and can't stop listening to you guys.
Thank you, Pete.
And go Vols!
Go Vols! Come on, Pete. Stand up when you preach. Your check's in the mail, bud. Thank you. I love it.
Love it, man.
I will say, in a sentimental moment, as we go forward into football season, we've had a really fun offseason.
We have.
And the level of energy we've brought every day for the last couple months, we're going to bring it again.
We're going to bring it. Can't wait to. Everybody's got new stuff they're doing. Will's still crushing at SC. Titans Radio for myself. Kayla doing stuff this fall, too. Hey, everybody eats, B.
And the show is back whole tomorrow. Kayla Anderson rejoins us. Titans will practice American rules tackle football tomorrow in the greatest city on earth, Nashville, Tennessee. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Football is back, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Vrabel meets with the media at 11:30. DeAndre Hopkins right after it. You can hear it live right here on 104.5 The Zone, and you can hear live words of wisdom in your football season, your off season, and anything in between from one Ramon Foster.
I got a little flair to it today, Will, just from our caller Pete, man. Hey, when everybody's pulling in the same direction, everybody eats. But in the meantime, you must remember, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always high.
Unless you're eating pretzels.